Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy time zone, everybody. This is Rosa Dusk. You can call me Road, Dusk, anything that you would call a friend. And I have friendos!
Hello!
For those that are confused, I'm like,
Oh, sorry.
Where's the cute bean? No, you're good. For those that are confused, I'm like, where's the cute bean? We are using the character tokens representing everyone's characters. I assume, Celine, how would you want us to go about with introing our characters, who we are, and such before we get to the session proper?
I think Celine is still away doing the thing.
Well, jig is up.
That's a problem.
The jig is
I
up.
did not realize I was muted. I've been back for a while now and was
there she
wondering
is.
why nobody was listening to me.
Oh no, Celine!
Okay, let's try this again, shall we?
Yeah. So, Celine, how
Restart.
do you want us to introduce our characters in the heat of the moment, or do you want everyone to go around hot potato style before we get to the session proper?
Well, I think now is an appropriate time to introduce the voice actors and actresses that we've got playing these characters. Shout out anyone who has either a Twitch that can be pointed at, or a YouTube channel, or things like that. And introduce. Let's just go around and give a very brief one-sentence description of the different characters that we've got.
That'd
Because-
be nice.
All right, well, go ahead. Why don't you start then if you're gonna sass me?
Oh, was that sass? Sorry, couldn't tell.
Dogman,
What?
2/3 of what you say is sass. I don't think you can get away with that whole. Was that sass?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I can't really tell what I do. I'm an enigma even to myself. Well, guess I'm starting with my own introduction. Oh boy. Well, hello, dearests. I am Druid Lude, or Lude Havoc on Twitter, and I am also known as Dogman on Discord. I will be playing Lier, a very fancy glamour bard.
How do you spell
as
your
Bard-
name here on Twitch?
On Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just start
the
being
Dogman Arts. On Twitch, at very least. Not very active right now. Maybe one day.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Dogman, who will be playing the air. All right, next up, let's go to Mersha and her player, please.
Hello. My name is Marsha. I work for, I have notes. Give me a second. I work for a royal family. They found me when I was little. I don't know anything about where I came from. I'm played by Easily Bored. That is the name on all platforms. And I'm really happy to meet you all. So, I hope we have a good time.
Very nicely done. Thank you for that. All right. Next up, let's go ahead and have Suxel introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I am Suxel, and I am playing as a green dragonborn, and I am a blacksmith in the town or something. I don't know.
And
Don't give
your
that backstory
Twitch
yet.
is Soul CP Chan, right?
Yes, it is Soul CP Chan actually, but I don't ever use it.
Well, you're getting the shout out anyway.
I don't get any shout out because I don't exist in any platforms.
Well, at the very
All I do
least,
is
it's
work.
good for us to know who the people are and have an opportunity to follow them.
Mm.
And on the subject of having an opportunity to follow them, Small, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Small. I am played by Cap Florg, who, and almost all my social links have the word Florg in there.
Mm.
I am a halfling barbarian.
Indeed. And what exactly does this halfling barbarian come from?
Sapling Barbarian comes from a clan of Goliaths. Same clan as Morg? Is that his name again? Got his name. It's been a long time since I've seen him.
Don't spoil it!
Whoopsie!
All right. And let's round things out with Morg here.
Yeah, hey there, my name is Morg. I am played by Road to Dust, the one who's hosting this whole shebang. I am a Goliath rogue. Not what you would expect, but it's more of what my heart wants, not exactly what other people want of me.
All right. And so with that, we've got a variety of folks from a variety of backgrounds here. And what's interesting about all of these people is, for one reason or another, they've all somehow wandered into the Shifting Woods. Now, this region has been blessed by Oberon, the husband of Titania and the king of the fairies. He has a very wild nature to him, and as a result, the forest itself always seems to resist structure. People who wander into the forest often do not find their way back out, although one can't quite tell if it's from the inherent dangers of being around so many fae, or if it's because the woods themselves have a way of keeping people that they enjoy. And so, our story begins with a young changeling bard who is the peak of her career, flying around in interstellar space, when suddenly a rift in space and time opens and dumps her in a forest she's not familiar with, where she hears a couple of voices, one sounding somewhat like a halfling, and the other like a Goliath, on the other side of some bushes. So, Morg, what exactly are you arguing with Small about right now?
Look, Morg, that's my name. Look, it's been a while since I have seen you, Small. Like, it's been what, 5 years? Why in the hell are you following me?
What? Because you have disappeared, and I know you're not dead. So I went to search for you because everybody else was so sure that you're dead.
Yeah, and... Okay. Do you not remember what happened to the clan?
It's been too long.
Exody died.
Yes.
What, do you...
So, Lier,
There's a lot that I need to tell you about Small, but later.
Lier, with all of this disorientation, you've got two people who are arguing on the other side of a bush about what apparently is the fate of some sort of clan. You're in the middle of the woods, not the middle of a spaceship, so it's more than a little bit of a confusing place. What exactly are you going to do?
What the hell? Is that a Goliath and a halfling? Where did I land?
I'm looking around myself. I'm guessing there's just nothing else as interesting as these two ruffians.
Well, you're surrounded by a variety of different trees and plants. If you wanted to try and recognize them, you certainly could give that a go, although I don't know that nature is your forte. The trees mostly seem to be with green leaves, so given the warm climate, you suspect it must be somewhere around either mid-spring or early autumn. But since nothing's changed, probably spring. It's fairly light out. You can see a pretty good distance into the trees. But, you know, with all of these trees around, there's still going to be limited visibility. So, you don't necessarily see anything beyond the bushes and the arguing critters as you're trying to get your bearings.
I pat my clothing down just to get the dust off of them.
All right. Well, they seem to chirp rather quietly but happily.
Well, glad you enjoy it. This publication's gonna be hassle now, though. Let's go talk to them. You got my back, right, boys? I will approach these two arguing buffoon-looking people
All right.
and give a loud
I look over to Lear's direction. Okay, what the? Okay, hi.
question. Are you two bandits?
No.
Bears are afraid of me.
Good to know. Do you know what forest I'm in, or what plane is this?
This is the material plane. Are you high?
No, I just...
Then why are you projecting your voice like you're like 20 feet away from me?
Because I didn't want to get close to you guys. I'm right.
Do you think I approached you like 5 foot in front? No, I am standing at a neat little 10, 15 feet away.
Okay,
at
fair.
least.
Well, you don't seem too dangerous, so approaches casually. All right. So you said the material plane, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't look too material plane-ish. All right. Do you know the way out?
No, we're honestly just as confused as you are. We got kind of trapped in here, ended up finding each other, and now we've been trying to tighten up loose ends, unironically. What about you? What got you in here?
I fell.
Like from the sky?
That information is for me to know and you to never find out. In any case, I suppose I'll stick to you guys for now, since safety in numbers, I suppose.
That's true. What do you, if you don't mind me asking, what do you tend to do? I pull out like a dagger from one of my side holsters. I tend to try and go the nice, swift and quick. He's a little more in your face. What can you bring to the table?
All right. Everybody make a perception check for me, please.
Will do. Let me
Let's
just
go.
1, 2, 3. I am just very enamored by these two buffoons.
I got an 8.
I got an 11.
I got a 3.
All right. Everybody who got above a 5 can hear some crashing through the underbrush, a little bit of squealing, and what sounds like a rather panicked half-orc.
Get away, get away, get away, get away! She crashes through the bushes, having something chase her.
Yep. As she comes into the clearing, a large rat, roughly the size of like a medium-sized dog, comes lunging out of the bushes, snarling and hissing.
Oh, perfect.
You could really appreciate it.
Just gonna cast a very quick shatter on the rat.
What?
Oh? Can't shatter the rat?
You can try, unless the spell is very different from what I'm remembering, though, that mostly is used for inanimate objects, isn't it?
It can, but... Okay.
Anyway, go ahead and cast it.
Alright,
So is
just
this
says
a
that it just
con
says
save?
that it just says that it has to, like, inanimate objects has to make a save or break, you know, non-magical ones. But yeah, no, it's not just for objects.
All right.
So,
So-
it's a con save of DC 14.
All right, and the creature has failed the save. So
Okay, now let me just roll those beautiful, beautiful dice. I'm gonna just grab. How many did I need? 3. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So that is 3 plus 4, 7 plus 7. 14 damage. So did it fail or succeed? I don't remember.
it failed on the save.
So it takes 14 thunder damage.
All right. So, as this creature leaps into the clearing, catches its footing, you notice Lier let out just this extremely discordant note. And it almost seems to reverberate off of all of the trees, collapsing in on the rat, which in turn collapses in on itself in a burst of viscera. Let's see. So, Mersha, go ahead and make a dexterity check.
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
No worries.
Let me see. Trying to find it. Ah, there it is. 17.
All right. As the rat bursts, you do manage to get clear of the viscera, but the entire clearing is now coated in, rat guts. And the sound has been explosive enough that it's probably been heard a fair ways off, even with the muting effects of a forest around you. You guys might want to get moving.
I look at the guys.
Magic. And a nice singing voice.
Nice.
Now,
Well, you might need to pipe down because we might just be getting followed now. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah, you idiot.
Glad I don't have to clean that up.
Yeah.
Oh, since you appeared out of nowhere, you might want to join. Let's go.
I mean, there's not.
You're part of the group
yeah.
now. No choice.
All right, and
Okay then.
remind me again, who rolled less than a 5 on their perception check earlier?
Me.
All right. So as you guys start to go, you actually trip over what seems to have been a sleeping half-dragon, lizard man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's not quite clear to you on this site what this is,
Oh my god.
but it's clearly been awakened by the sound and then being tripped over.
Ugh, get out of the way.
Slight kick.
Oh, hey, that's not nice. As I stand back up and look at the, was it tiefling? Halfling? Tiefling?
Changeling.
Changeling.
You don't know that I'm a changeling. I just look human to you all right now, but I just have the funky eyes.
Yes. Slightly odd-looking human.
Careful where you step next time. I'm trying to take a nap here.
You nap in these woods?
I mean, he's green enough. Maybe he'll
Yes.
be ignored.
Ah,
He's
I
a
mean,
trip over,
considering the
though.
fact that you tripped over him, he has good enough camouflage by himself.
He did blend in pretty well, I guess.
Yeah, even I didn't see him.
Yes, I do camouflage in these woods because it's very nice out here.
Uh-huh.
And best
Anyways,
not to
let's
be
move on
bothered
now.
by whatever entities are around.
Keeps
Hey,
walking.
don't
Well,
move away
from one
me.
of the nearby bushes, you do hear some rustling and a loud, ear-piercing screech emanates forth.
Wait,
I'm
oh
Just
no,
walking
not another
away
one.
from that.
What
So,
the fuck was that?
Did anybody else hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. Let's
What?
keep down and get a move on.
Can I pretend I didn't?
Here, it's not gonna help you. Come on.
Yay.
all
Oh,
right.
my name's Marcia, by the way. I don't know who you are, but being alone's not good. So yeah. Lead on.
Nice to meet you. It might be good, actually, for everyone to know each other's names, since we're going to be in on this for a while. Name's
butts in unannounced.
I'm Lier. Pleasure to meet all your acquaintances.
Are you okay?
She's new.
Me too. Let's be the best of friends, okay?
Well, you're new to me.
Anyway, I'm Morg.
Alright.
This short stack over here is small.
I am small.
Red stack,
And-
huh?
What's your name, mate? I say, pointing to the lizard-like dragonborn.
Well, I am Sukkal, and smalls should be more careful where they step.
I wasn't the one who stepped on you. You're gonna keep him mistaken.
It was the one with the pearlescent hair over here.
I think that
That-
green thing needs some glasses.
To be clear, are you guys moving while you're talking and bantering like this?
Yes,
or
I
are
should
you...
be.
Should be.
Believe so.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you're kind of making your way through the bushes. Are any of you like trying to find a place to hide? Are you looking for a place to set up an ambush?
I've been trying to keep eye to see if there's been like anything to like signify that someone is going after us.
Oh, you know,
We'll be
you know
keeping
what?
watch.
Hey guys, cuddle up over here, please. Right next to this tree.
Okay.
I do so
Yeah.
while also still looking around.
Who
Yeah.
goes around me right now?
Roll
Perception
perception
of
for me,
25.
please.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Get that perception. 14.
All right. With a 14, you can tell that whatever's been kind of following you is still following, although it's been keeping a pretty steady distance, which doesn't seem very accidental. Mershit, you can see why this thing has been keeping a steady distance. In the trees ahead of you, you can see 4 creatures, rather furry little things, that are on the branches, clutching some sort of a spear.
I don't want to alarm you guys, but there are furry creatures hanging from the branches with spears. They would be very cute if not
Where?
for pointy things. Over there.
Do
She
I spot
points.
them?
Yes, they look like some sort of strange monkey with large tusks coming out of the bottom of its mouth.
Ooh.
Think if Diddy Kong had a particularly nasty underbite.
So we have something following us.
Are they within 30 feet?
Yes, actually. They are just barely within spear throwing distance. You've stopped just in time.
I'm going to cast fear in their direction. I'm going all out.
And what is the save on that one?
It is a wisdom save, obviously DC 14 currently, and it's a 30-foot cone in their direction.
Okay, well, that'll be enough to catch the ones in the trees.
Yeah.
And so you start just strumming this eerie chord progression. It almost feels like the very nature of the forest is warping the tones, though.
Mind if I sing a bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Might as well pull out the only one I've worked on.
Entity, what's your identity? My enemy, I'll set you free. From mortality, I'll tear you. Away from life, I'll scare you.
And I think I'll end it there for that short ensemble of a spell.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, as it echoes through the trees, what started out as terrifying and discordant has actually ended up sounding like kind of in tune with the breeze through the branches. The creatures don't seem particularly bothered by this, but they now see exactly where you are. Everybody roll initiative.
Let's
Fucking hell.
go.
It didn't work.
We sure we want to fight these things?
Dirty 20.
Murder, 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 murder.
One,
Got
two,
a
three.
10.
18.
Wow, my initiative is, let's see, getting down. That's a 7 on initiative.
Okay, so Road got a
I
20, Mersha
Roll a
16,
18.
18. Thank you. And then what were the other ones? Please say your name as you do so, since I'm holding on
Lear
to these.
7.
Small 10.
Circle 1.
Oh!
Oh no! The first nat one of the
Oh.
night.
It's not
Or
a-
the first nat
it's
one of the
not-
night.
It's not a nat 1. It's a 2 minus 1.
Oh! Oh, I'm not sure if that's
A
worse.
dirty one.
That's a dirty one.
Dirty one is not a critical failure in my eyes. Don't know about you guys.
Yes.
Not.
Yeah.
All right.
My initiative is bad.
So, let's start this out with Road. You have actually gone first in initiative.
Woo woo. Okay. So, all right. I'm going to. So, how close am I from the next tree where I can get decent coverage?
Maybe a couple of feet. The forest is fairly thick here, so you can slip behind a tree if you want to try and get some cover.
Yeah, I want to keep behind a tree so that I can get some good cover. I want to sneak over to that tree as best as I can.
Okay, go ahead and make your stealth check on this.
And I got advantage! 18!
All right, you feel like you're getting through the underbrush pretty stealthily here. Everybody else, the Colossus seems to have vanished. You're not sure what magic this is, but something that big shouldn't be able to disappear that well.
Fuck.
Ah, my good old friend.
Road,
Yes,
are
yes,
you
yes.
getting, are you guys getting ads right now, or?
Oh, yeah, they're... Yeah, I tried to give warns, like, in the chat for ads.
Yeah, and I see a 2 minutes until ads here,
Yeah.
so...
Oh. I don't have ads
Well, I
yet.
see the pre-roll ad, like, reset itself, so I think some folks are getting ads.
Okay.
Does ad
I'm-
blocker do anything for these?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Oh,
Well,
no.
Dogman, you forget, you subbed to me a few nights ago.
All right, so that's what happened. I mean, before even I subbed, sometimes the ads don't appear to me, so
Ah.
confusing.
Huh.
Sometimes I get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So ads are going on right now.
Maybe? It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is hard to say, because no one's, like, saying anything about ads, or, like, ads are
Ooh,
being
newspapers.
done right now.
Fortunately,
Yeah,
I'm
that's how
subscribed,
the-
so ads don't apply to me
Yeah, I
either.
think everyone that's in the campaign or one shot is sub, so like we don't deal with the damages.
Oh, really?
How interesting.
Yeah,
Well, it's a little bit of a pain, but...
a little bit of a pain,
we'll-
but yeah, I'll keep eye
Little
on the timer, and we'll say like a minute 30 break-ish, like for like just to accommodate ads in case. But I think we should be good now since we've talked. long
Yeah.
enough.
It's been a couple minutes, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully nobody got
Yeah.
too left behind with ads. But yes, the Colossus vanishes into the bushes. And what are you doing now that you're sneaking?
Now that I am sneaking, you know what? There's still. Are there only like the flying monkeys in the trees, or are there some on the ground?
Well, you don't know that they're flying monkeys. They,
Yeah, that's fair.
but they are
I
definitely
think so.
in the
You need
trees.
like a perception check, maybe.
Well, Red already did a perception check, and
Yeah.
the only one that you're aware of, other than the ones in the trees, are whatever's been chasing you through the underbrush.
Okay. You know what? Considering I have only one attack, what I want to do is, how far am I from where the other thing that was in the underbrush is? Am I 60 feet or less?
Yeah, you're within 60 feet there. If you
Okay.
want to try slipping over to it.
Actually, I'm just gonna be throwing one of my daggers.
You're going to be blind firing at it.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
As a rogue.
That is a little too ballsy. You know what? I'll go for one of the monkeys that are up on the tree because I know where they are. Like I see them, and they do have spear. I do not like spear.
Roll intelligence for me real quick.
Okay. Okay. 10.
You know, boy, you're already pretty stealthy. Maybe if you went over to investigate, you could get the drop on the thing.
Alright, fuck it, I'll bite.
Well, hopefully you'll bite before this bites.
Right? Okay.
As you slip over, it seems to be some sort of dog-sized lizard. It doesn't necessarily have any teeth, and it seems like it's just making a very careful show of rustling leaves about. If you want, you can try making a nature check, see if you can get any insight into this thing.
You know what? I don't have any mods to it, but I'll give it a shot. 16.
16. You know, it doesn't seem like it's particularly dangerous, but it does seem like it might be well trained. If you had something that you could throw to it for food, it might even become peaceful.
Alright, I'm gonna rummage through. Like, can I take. I don't know what you're okay with me doing, but can I use, like, the rest of my action or whatever instead of using my action to toss, like, my dagger or whatever, can I use my action to find something in my inventory to maybe use as, like, food and such for a lure for the
Do you
little
have any
creature?
kind of rations or anything like that?
I believe items are a free items are a free interaction, if I remember
I
correctly.
have a day's worth of rations.
Yeah, if you want to pull a couple strips of meat out of your
Free ac-
rations and
free actions are a thing?
Yeah, only to
Ye-
deal with items, like putting an
Yeah.
item away, picking, just
opening a door, flipping a lever,
very basic stuff.
putting
Alright.
poison for Cusco in Cusco's food.
Alright, so I'm gonna pull
Gave
like a
him the
few.
wrong file.
I'm gonna pull a few pieces like of meat, and I'm going to like toss them over at the little lizard's direction.
All right. As it's sniffing around, it does catch up these little bits, and you just watch as it, rather than opening its mouth to eat them, slides right over the top of them, and there doesn't seem to be any meat left behind. But it does come over to you and start waggling its tail expectantly.
Oh, you're
All right.
cute.
And that is your turn. And with
Oh.
that, the monkeys get a chance to do things.
I has a friendo.
What a time to make a friend.
Depends on which
I
monkey is
will
going.
name him Frank.
Maybe worry about surviving first.
If he survives, his name will be Frank.
All right, Lier, remind me what your armor class is, please.
14 right now.
Okay. So the creatures.
Oh, wait a second. Nope, 16. Sorry.
Gotcha. The creatures up in the trees hurl their spears at you. 3 of them miss, 2 of them embedding in the dirt, and 1 of them bouncing off of your chest armor. The other one catches you right in the shoulder. It doesn't seem like it hurts too much, but you still take 5 points of damage from it.
Oh, you bitch! Oh, you'll pay for that one.
And the creatures just kind of make some sort of gesture. You're not quite certain what the gesture means, but from their attitude, you can tell it has something to do with your mother. All right.
Oh, you're
And-
dead. You're mine.
And with that, Mersha, it is your turn, you great mountain of half-orc lady.
Actually, like 5'4". But anywho, let me see. How many people are within 30 feet of me right now?
Well, there are 4 people who are not hostile. 3 of them are not you.
I'm referring to party members only. Thank you, though.
Okay, yes. So the 3 party members that you can see near you.
All right. I'm going to use Emboldening Bond. It allows my friendly team members to roll a d4 for an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. But they
So
can
that's
only do
basically
so
massive
once
guidance.
their turn. Can only do so once on their turn. And it lasts for 10 minutes. And then I'm going to hide behind a rock.
All right.
Mass
You-
guidance sounds nice.
So you guys hear as this little half orc stands out in front of you, holds her symbol forth, and cries out about how fortune favors the bold. My brave friends, prepare, and then ducks behind a rock.
You guys got this. I believe in you.
Ugh.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you're taking cover behind a rock.
I am.
All right, and that is Marsha's turn. Small, what are you going to do here?
How far away are they?
The monkeys are right around 30 feet from you.
Excellent. I get my javelins out.
All right.
Let's see. Which one should I pick off first?
So I
Hmm.
started shooting.
So I started blasting.
And I missed.
I fired and I missed.
Okay, let's. Sorry.
All right.
I got you though.
Out of curiosity, would you like to rage?
Not this time,
Oh.
because I'm too far away to rage.
That sentence hurts my soul. As a previous barbarian, it hurts my soul.
I mean,
You
you
are-
have to either be attacking or be attacked in order to sustain it. So that's kind of a smart decision. Or so I heard or read about in books.
Let's see.
Sounds pretty meta of you, not gonna lie.
And how many? And how many are there again?
There are 4 of them.
You know what? I'll attack the third one.
All right. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Wait, is it the one that flipped me off?
I mean, all 4 of them made some sort of gesture to that effect.
That is a
Okay,
10.
All right. So you wind up, you hurl your javelin, and it embeds itself in the branch at the foot of the creature.
Okay.
See you
Also-
next time.
Also, to make correction, they did not flip you off. They just said discouraging things about your mother and Monkeys.
Your knees.
Halfling, some of the spears that they threw are currently around me. If you want them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
More
they're right
weapons
there.
for me. More weapons for me.
You are awfully jolly for saying it's in the middle of combat, but okay.
These are mine now, you monkeys. Come and get them.
All right. Are you going to do anything else with your turn?
I don't do anything. I end my
All
turn.
right. So the halfling looks at the monkeys, hurls the spear. It embeds itself in the branches. The halfling starts taunting them a little bit, not very effectively. Like, you guys aren't exactly feeling the burn of these comments, and it then just is standing there. Lier, it is your turn, dearie.
Menacingly.
Watch this. Vicious mockery.
All right.
Your ass is so hairy, I swear I'd confuse you for the ugliest coconut I have ever seen. Also, you might want to get some cream. I see a bald spot.
On the first one I saw taunting me, that actually hit me, you know?
Okay, the one that hit you, let's call that one number 3. And, like, You swear you can see a little bit of singed flesh coming off of this thing. Go ahead and roll damage.
I know
and,
personally,
and it
also-
has disadvantage on its next turn. Wait a second, that's a wisdom saving throw.
Yes, it is. Yep,
Hmm.
and it failed miserably. Double your damage once you finish rolling it.
Double the damage.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see. Where are my caltrop? I guess this one will do.
Okay, one.
Of course, the
One,
four-sided die is a
two,
caltrop.
three.
Why wouldn't it be?
I guess that's 2 damage, but still disadvantage.
All right. So the creature lets out a
Wait a second.
little bit of it.
Spell the increase when you reach level 5. Oh, never mind.
Not level 5.
And you're not level 5 in Bard?
Oh yeah, oh, I never level 5, so that's... Wait, no, that's... I rolled 2. There's just a second then. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's 2 plus 6. I doubled that one too, right? Both damage dice?
Yes.
Or just
So
overall?
add the 2 together, then multiply by 2.
Okay then, that's 4, so that's 8 damage.
All right. Yeah, the monkey like spins around almost as though it's trying to find the bald spot you mentioned, and like just kind of casually smoothing out its tush fur. All right. And Sakal, you've been kind of in a daze through all of this, so you finally managed to come out of it and are like ready to get into combat here. What are you gonna do?
Oh, wait a second, I wasn't done though.
Oh, you weren't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Since I'm a bard, I'm going to, you know, inspire somebody. And since I can't inspire a
Rude
coward
here.
to attack, I'm going to inspire the only one that so far I've seen attempt, and that's going to be the small halfling, because I can't see the other guy. So,
All right. So Lier just lets out this power chord with a soaring high note from her voice, and
Be
Small,
inspired to slay those chimps.
Yas, Queen, slay!
Slay it.
Small, you can feel some of that fire welling up within your belly. You got this.
Slay, baby, slay!
Violent inferno. Wait, no, that's not how this works. Never mind. All right, and with that, anything else that you want to do in your turn here? Lier?
I'm sorry, wait, yeah, that's the end of my turn then. Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Sakal, you're up. What you gonna do, bunny?
Alright. How many monkeys do I have of vision of me?
There are 4. They're looking at you. Well,
Oh.
one of them is currently trying to get a look at its own rump, but, you know, it's the thought that counts.
Right, and which numbered monkey is friends with Golem?
None of the monkeys look like they're friends with anyone at this point.
Oh,
Though your
okay.
Colossus seems to
I
have
wonder
disappeared
what
into the
charge.
bushes somewhere.
So I will use Sacred Flame on one of the monkeys. I'll do number 2, I guess.
Okay, so you're picking a different monkey to use Sacred Flame on.
Yes. They need to do a save of 13.
Alright, well, so...
Dex save.
Alright, you hold out your holy symbol and enchant words of rebuke and recrimination, and this pillar of divine light comes bursting up through the woods. And boy, it's a shame that the creature just manages to get out of the way, singeing only a couple of hairs. Anything else that you want to do? Do you maybe have a sacred weapon you can throw out?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, Remind me to remind you to prepare some better spells as a cleric next time. But
Imagine a cleric that doesn't
True.
know how to cleric. That happens to all of us.
Luckily for me, I know how to cleric.
I'm not sure.
Sorry,
if
all my things are action.
Maybe you should also like get a level
No
of bar
worries.
for that vicious mockery. Damn.
Need
All
it for
right.
Some bonus action stuff.
so, with that, Road, the hit parade comes back around to you.
All right.
You have a rather charmed-looking little lizard there,
I have
who's,
a little
you know,
buddy.
well, more or less, you hope.
Throws the lizard at the monkeys.
No, I'm not gonna yeet him. That'd be too mean. That'd be
Yeet us
You
the
just the
lizard.
lizardess.
He deserves
You're
respect.
gonna
Grace
help us
deserves
out.
respect. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try and do a thing. I'm going to hold up another thing of meat, be like, you see this, Frankie? You see this? And I want to throw it onto one of the monkeys and hope that it gets right on their face.
When?
Make an attack roll. Remember that
can
you are
s-
not proficient with meat, unless you have something like Tavern Brawler.
You know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
would be funny though? He gets on that 20, slams it so hard in the monkey's head, the monkey fall and dies.
Okay, for an attack roll, what do I do? Like for a normal attack roll?
So this will be a ranged attack. You've got disadvantage because of the the distance on this, and you don't get to add your proficiency bonus because you're not proficient with meat.
Okay. Are there any mods that I add or no?
Dexterity or strength, I'll let you pick either.
Dex or strength?
I don't want to make a cook character.
18.
18.
On a
Wow, with
disadvantage?
disadvantage.
Right? I got a 19 and then a 15.
All right. Well, yes. So you managed to lob one of these pieces of meat straight into the face of monkey number 1.
Go get it, Frankie! Go get it!
How much damage does meat does?
Probably like
in
two
this
psychic, two psychic damage.
just a little bit of like got a little bit of meat juice in the eye.
Yeah, no, like it's just sitting on this critter's nose, and the the lizard goes kind of bounding off, like it's actually hopping in the air, which is weird for something that uses its belly to eat.
Go get it, Frankie!
That's
Can we get a good look at the underbelly of this thing? What?
Yeah.
Like, does it look like a slug?
You know, yeah, I'm a little curious.
You manage to catch a glimpse as it's bounding along. At first, it looks like it's just got some simple long scales, until you see it separate a little bit, and a mouth full of all kinds of uneven, long, sharp teeth are visible, but only briefly. The creature manages to make it over to the tree and looks like it's about to start up on its next turn.
Lear looks starry-eyed.
I love that creature.
He's mine. You can't have him. He's Frankie. He will forever be Frankie.
Not if I tame him better.
I tamed him first. Fuck off.
Can we not fight?
Bet.
I mean, you're literally in combat.
How do you want us not to fight in this situation?
No, not
Alright,
not
wait,
not
wait.
each other. I mean, I guess the other things are
Don't
okay.
heckle. Okay, so DM,
I'll
just to
heckle the
clarify,
same character.
was the tossing of the meat onto the monkey's face my one attack?
Yeah, that would be your attack here.
Okay.
Throwing something at a hostile creature is an
You go-
attack.
You gonna use some movement?
Yeah, I'll use some movement to like sneakily get a little closer to the monkeys.
Okay,
Close
well,
as you
you
can,
gave
right?
away your position with that sneak attack beef.
Yeah, but bonus attack, bonus hide
So-
you can do.
Yeah.
You have to roll a new stealth, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. New stealth, let's go, and I have advantage. Thank God.
All
We're
right.
14.
close to a nat 1.
No, I rolled a 4 earlier, and now I got an 11, so plus 3 is 14.
All right. So, you don't feel like you're getting quite as stealthily through the bushes, but you're definitely making progress and you don't feel like you're being watched too closely.
Yay!
All right. And now the baddies get to go. So, monkey number 3 notices there's a javelin sticking into the branch, picks it up, and throws it. Let's see. And so that actually will hit. So the javelin goes flying out and smacks Small right in the chest. It doesn't actually embed, but it does manage to do a little bit of damage here.
Ow! Why?
Oh, wow. Actually, that cut deeper than I expected. You take 9 points of damage.
Oop, indeed.
Mhm.
He's a barbarian. He's fine.
I'm
The
not
monkey,
raging yet.
monkey
We don't
number
know if
1.
He's a barbarian.
Yes, Small is the barbarian.
But we
Monkey
don't know
number
that.
1
Well, I don't.
pulls the meat off of its face, opens its mouth, and drops it down the hatch. The lizard, for its part, doesn't seem to really appreciate this.
Get him, Frankie! Get him!
Wraps its body around the tree, and with a mighty crunch, takes a large bite out of it. The tree begins to sway. And
Dexterity saved the monkeys?
well, that specific monkey had a dexterity save. It had one job,
And it
and
failed.
And failed it.
Yeah, it failed it pretty badly. It falls out of the tree, lands on top of the lizard, and lets out a nasty squelchy squeal as the two collide. You will find out whether or not it survived that particular fall next time it starts doing something.
Frankie!
I feel like you just befriended some kind of toxic aberration slug.
Alright, the other two monkeys throw some kind of hardened brown substance you guys' way.
Uh-oh.
Ugh. Ew.
Fortunately, none of it seems to connect. Unfortunately, it still smells really bad.
Oh, come on!
That's a low blow.
Really?
Alright, so that is the monkey's turn. Marcia, you are up.
It looks like that hurts. She kind of like scuttles over to him. Does a what is it? Cure wounds. Rolling. Healing for 7 points.
Alright.
And then she scuttles back behind her rock. Go get him.
Insulted humanoid noises. Oh yeah, sure, heal the barbarians.
Alright.
Thank you!
I mean, hey, that's all it had to be, I guess. Small, it is your turn. You've been touched by a half-orc.
Enforce.
And you're feeling the burn. Don't forget, you can use my inspiration, a D8, to add to an attack
Woo-hoo.
if you don't feel too confident, or an ability check, or a save.
Also remember your guys' D4 for, stuff.
E.
Yes.
Let's see.
You'll probably forget about it.
Are the monkeys still up there?
So 3 of the monkeys are up there. One of them is lying face down in a lizard.
I go after the one that had hit me. With its own spear.
Tree.
Okay. And in the interest of fair play, are you raging?
No. Because I'm gonna be throwing the spear.
You do know rage applies when you're throwing things as well as when you're in melee, right?
This attack, yes.
Wait, what?
It's for the damage. Rage is for the damage.
I might as well rage.
Let's fucking go!
All right, the
You're
barbarian
my
finally
beauty.
decides to get upset about this.
Late bloomer. Small's
Here's
always
the
been a
poop.
late bloomer.
Fledgling barbarians, such noobs.
I
I
go,
am vicious.
I grab one of the spears that I had collected, looked up at, and it was monkey number 3 that threw that spear, right?
Yes, monkey
Yeah.
number 3 threw one of the spears as well.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
the big-
the one that threw my javelin back at me.
Yes, monkey number 3 is the one that threw your javelin back at you.
Ooh.
Alrighty. You I'm going after. See. That is a 16 plus a 5, that's a 21.
All right, roll your damage, please.
Let's go.
2 plus 2. That's a 6 in total because I combine it with my rage.
All
so that's
right.
6.
So, you let out a mighty roar, which may or may not have been an attempt at an insult. And the spear goes flying, and it cuts right through the right kneecap on the monkey, which tumbles out of the tree.
Bop-dee-doo, bop-dee-doo,
Also, we
bust
got
your
ads going
kneecaps.
on right now, so wait another minute.
Oh.
Dang.
All right.
Finally, the barbarian raged.
Hey, the barbarian capped him.
Finally.
Went for the knee-
Small
for the
has always been a
kneecaps.
late bloomer. Like, Small was brought into the clan. Everyone knew that it was gonna
No Lord
take a little
Dumps
more
yet.
effort.
No Lord
It's
Dumps
good. Who said that this was an actual Lord Dump? Who said that this was canon?
Well, I don't want to hear it. Yet.
All right. If
Sorry.
just a reminder for anyone who might be able to hear this: if you do see ads, let us know so that we don't keep going on the action during it. Because
Yeah.
for some reason, nobody in chat is going to get the ads. So, go ahead, Marcia. Sorry.
What I was gonna say is gone. It is escaped from my brain, never to return.
Oh no! You guys, there's a fleeting thought. Quick, catch it.
Grabs it, eats it. No more.
Lear!
I was gonna say,
Listen,
grab it,
listen.
eat it.
As a creature of the mind, I love them. All right? You're never getting that one back.
What's my name again?
What?
Your name is
Mersha. Your name is Mersha.
Princess Sparkleweather.
Oh,
And you're a
no.
princess in a distant land.
That's a heck of a fleeting thought.
Right?
All right, I am going to assume that everybody is back from the advert breaks at this point.
Hmm.
So, the monkey, having had its kneecap shattered by a halfling-thrown spear, tumbles out of the tree, falls to the ground,
Wait
and
a
there's
second.
yet another.
Celine, your wording, it was funny. I'm sorry, but you said a halfling throwing spear. The image is hilarious.
It almost sounds like you're saying the spear was throwing the halfling.
Yes. And honestly, I love the thought.
Can we get back on track, guys?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, so the monkey falls to the ground with a squelch. You don't see any movement from it. All right. So with that, Lier, it is your turn.
I'm going to look at the other little monkey. So to pick up an item, it's free, right?
If you're just picking it up off the ground or something, yeah.
Okay. I'm grabbing one of the spears that they threw at me.
All right.
And even though I'm not proficient, I'm still going to attempt it because they are not within range of my attacks. So, listen, I have only
Bards aren't proficient with simple weapons?
I only have a whip, you fool.
You are proficient, though.
Yeah, bards are proficient with simple weapons.
Oh, really?
Last
okay.
time I checked.
Right. Okay. Never mind that. I will throw that spear at that little shit of a monkey.
All right. Strength
Well,
or
that's-
dexterity, use whichever you like since you're throwing.
Yep. Is it just a little spear?
I mean, it's a pretty solid sized spear.
Well-
It comes up to about the tips of your ears if it were standing with its butt on the ground.
Okay. So I can use dex for this, right?
Yes, it's a throwing operation, so you can either try to throw gracefully or you can try to just huck it as hard as you can. Either one will improve its
Thrown
efficacy in its
versa-
own way.
Okay, so I am going to throw this little spear and that little shit. So 1, 2.
Which
3.
little shit?
Uh,
3 is down.
Okay, the one that's still standing, I guess. But I
No,
don't
number
think,
3 is down. You've got 1, 2, or 4.
I don't think I'm gonna hit it with a 8 though. So
Oh, yeah, nope. You throw the spear and it arcs up into the air and it comes down somewhere in the bushes. You don't know where. Anything
Hey, you
else?
tried your best.
Oh, but
Don't
did it,
patronize me.
I'm
oh,
going.
but did it hurt my friend?
I'm going to inspire. Do I see Morg?
You saw Morg briefly, but you're not sure where Morg is now. I mean, you can try making a perception check, see if you can spot him in the bush.
Hey, tall sneaky boy. I can't help you if I can't see you.
So okay, 1, 2, 3. That's gonna be a 9. I don't think I'm gonna see him.
Nope. Unfortunately, you cannot see him to help
Well,
him.
then I'm going to inspire Marsh since the other guy is still inspired. Then use his inspiration.
All right. Okay, anything else for your turn here?
No, not that I can tell.
Alrighty, and Sukal, your turn.
Alright. I am gonna attempt to hit it with guiding bolt.
Alright.
Attack 4. Do a hit die. Oh, wow, total of 23.
That will hit. Roll your damage, please.
4 d6s.
Damn.
Damn!
14
That might be
damage.
overkill.
All right. The monkey screeches, and it's just absolutely showered with confetti and rainbows. Like, this thing stands out even against the forest now. And it looks like it's about to fall down out of the tree, grabs with its tail, spins around, and is now in a position to make a few more rude gestures at you.
Wait, what happened to the monkey? Sorry, I was reading.
The monkey got hit by a guiding bolt, so this
Oh, that's
brilliant
fun.
burst of energy
Yeah.
emits from Sukal's hand, smacks straight into the monkey, which looks like it was going to fall out of the tree.
Yeah,
but
I got
catches,
the rest.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
No worries.
Alright, since it hits, next attack roll made against it will be on advantage.
Yep. All right, and with that, Road, you are up.
All right. So, am I able to see like how the one monkey on top of Frank is doing?
Yeah, it looks pretty dazed. It doesn't look like it's going to be moving this turn.
All right, and there's no other monkeys that are super close by, yeah?
Well, there's what's left of a monkey that fell out of the tree and landed hard. But
All right.
nothing that looks like it might get up anytime soon.
Okay. I am going to head over to the monkey that's on top of Frank, yank him off into a stabby stab at the throat.
That's a grab or an attack, I think.
Unconscious critter, I'll consider it an object interaction. If he wants to coup de grace this thing, go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he rips up the stunned monkey from the ground, opens up its throat, and like, are you just plopping it back down on the ground? What are you doing with this now
I'll
dead monkey?
Plop it next to Frank in case Frank needs a meal.
All right.
Already
Okay.
sacrificing creatures to Frank.
That's his new warlock patron.
At the end of this, I get a level in Warlock.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Okay, if
Your soul is mine now, Warlock.
so, did that count as my action?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it did.
Okay, so I don't have any like proper attack after that.
No.
Okay.
If you've got a bonus action to use, you can go ahead and use it. Otherwise, yeah, you've kind of done your thing here.
Yeah, let's see. Nope. I have a bonus action that I can do, but not. Actually, no. I will use a bonus action to. You know what? I love you, Lier, but I'm gonna hide again because I'm a rogue. I gotta do the sneaky sneak.
Doesn't bother me. It's you that it's encumbering.
So I
Alright.
has bonus action to hide.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your stealth then.
Okay. Stealth, and I got advantage. That's a 14 again.
All right. Well, you're reasonably confident that you're hidden from your own party members, at least.
I don't like that wording.
Oh,
I don't like that wording.
And it is the baddie's turn. So, the lizard that is apparently now known as Frank, crawls over on top of the monkey that you have just dropped in front of it. And very quickly, there is not a lot of monkey left. Although there is a distressing crunching noise that seems to come from, some of the movements that the lizard makes. There's kind of this little flash of a couple of tongues every once in a while that you get from it. It's not the most appetizing thing you've ever seen.
Speak for yourself.
New friend.
And
Hope so.
then the remaining two monkeys start throwing more of that stinky stuff. One of them misses. One of them manages to land some squarely on Lier's chest.
Oh no!
Oh, now you're gonna get it, motherfucker.
Ah! Tiny, thank you so much for the sub. 2 months. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Can I,
Good to see you, Tiny Foxtrot. Thank you for joining us.
can I react on trying to wipe that shit away, or I don't have any reactions? But
I
that's just
mean,
so gross.
you really want to touch it as a reaction?
Well, I can't just leave it, quote unquote, on my chest now, can I?
Okay, yeah.
well.
So you go to wipe it away, and your hands get stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm doing next on my turn.
Oh no.
Want me to chop your arm off?
Oh no.
And so, with that, Marcia, it is your turn.
Wait.
Wait.
What's the turn order again?
Road, Baddies, Marcia, Small, the Air, Sakal.
Hey, you said
Okay.
Mersha.
Yep.
Yeah, Road, Baddies, who just went.
Yeah.
Next is Marcia,
Oh.
Hit Parade.
There.
Okay.
Okay.
I really hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she kind of crawls out from behind the rock. It's like, I noticed she got hurt, so, yeah, here, have this. Roll the dice. 7 plus wisdom, so 7 plus 4 is 11, I believe. I'm bad at math.
Yes,
Who?
7 plus 4 is 11.
And touches the Lier, the changeling, on the shoulder. Here you go.
I don't think you want to touch me too close to my chest, but thank you.
Ah, ew.
Full health.
That's gross. You should,
I
you
know.
should do something about that.
I am.
Okay, bye. Hides back behind the rock.
All right. Okay, with that, we have Small. You are up.
Wait, what happened to Lear's turn?
I believe that's right after yours.
It is.
Okay. So, there's just 2 monkeys up in the tree now, right?
Yes,
Yes,
2 little
and-
monkeys sitting in a tree making gestures at you and me.
Yeah, and D4 has. And
One of
monkey
the
number 4
monkeys
you have
just
advantage
fell
on.
down and died.
Yep, 1 monkey fell to its death, 1 monkey fell to its not quite death, and Road helped it along. So,
The
I have an
doctor
idea.
said, no more monkeys throwing spears.
I have an idea for clarification. If
What's
Rogue
up?
could just add like an order, like put himself as 1, put me as 3.
Oh yeah,
put-
turn order.
yeah.
Board.
Well,
That'd
not
be
even a
very
board,
useful.
just a series
oh,
of
just
numbers
in the.
because they're
Okay.
easy enough to add.
Okie dokie. And number 4, I have advantage again. You said Bunny?
So, 2 and 4 are the 2 remaining. Number 2 is currently glowing and sparkling like a
Number 2.
well, like a
No,
fairy.
it's 4. It's
It's
4, not
4.
2.
Oh, it's number 4? Okay, I'll update that in my notes here. Sorry about that.
It's alright.
I shall take one of my javelins and throw it at number 4.
All right, you rip a javelin out of the ground, take aim, hurl it, and give me a roll, please.
See. 10
Two
plus
rolls,
5,
you
and
have
I'm gonna
advantage.
take the inspiration.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to roll inspiration beforehand.
Wait,
No, you can roll it once you've seen the roll of the die.
Really? Oh,
Also,
okay.
you can use
Good.
the D4 that I gave everybody as well.
Yeah,
Once
you
per
get one
turn.
of those. You get one of those each turn, don't you?
For 10 minutes.
so that is a 19 in total.
That'll hit. Roll for damage, please.
That's a 7 in total.
All right. So, Small, angry thing that is, picks up a javelin, hurls it up into the trees, and it looks like it misses for a moment before bouncing off a couple of branches and then coming down straight into the monkey's shoulder, which lets out an ear-piercing screech.
And then, as a bonus action,
Let's go.
frenzy attack.
What?
A frenzied attack, you said?
Yeah, while in a frenzy, which is basically
Oh.
rage.
Berserker.
Yep. You can
Now
make
you
it.
have to turn on the frenzy,
Yeah, you have to.
and then you're exhausted
Wait.
after the fight.
Wait.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, frenzied attack. Yeah, you have to read that a little more carefully.
Frenzy attack.
Awkward.
All good. All good.
It's okay, it
It-
happens.
It doesn't say if I have to turn on. It's just a frenzy attack while in a frenzy.
Yes, how do you think
Sure.
you get to the frenzy state, my dear?
Rage.
No, my dear.
There's nothing to select here.
Um,
Maybe the
Alright,
rules changed a
let's
bit.
see.
Who knows?
You know what? I'll allow it. There's no sense in drawing a distinction here. But yeah, you'll be
Okay.
exhausted after the encounter. So, okay.
Also, this is a one-shot,
Go
so-
ahead and do your frenzied bonus action.
I shall take a nervous spear and hurl it
All right.
at monkey number 4.
Give me your roll, please.
Oh shit.
Here we go again.
Is it a 1?
Wait, did I actually look at that wrong? I looked at that wrong.
Oh,
It's a 16 plus 5, that would be a 21.
Okay. That's boy, that could have been a bad thing there, but all right. 21 will hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
And that's a 6 in total.
All right. So, the last of the javelins from the ground goes hurling up. This one catches the monkey pretty squarely in the stomach, erupting out the other side, and the monkey's eyes have glassed over long before it squelches to the ground.
ooh.
All right. So, sorry about that. Next up on the hit parade is Lier. There is one monkey left.
Let's see. Do I distant whisper or do I press digitation to get this shit off me?
What would Lier do?
Attack first, ask questions later. But
All right. Is there a
So-
somatic
so-
component to dissonant whispers?
it just says vocal. The
Okay.
other one, though, you know, Sierra and such, add it, but creature 3. Okay, so it's a wisdom save, DC 14, and just okay. So if it fails, it's gonna take full damage and flee, and if it succeeds, it's gonna have half damage and not fleeing.
Well, it
Yeah.
succeeded on its save. So,
Okay, let me just roll that. That's 3d6. Alright, let me just grab these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not the best. So that would be a 6. So that's a 3 psychic damage that they're gonna receive.
all right. Okay. So, the dissonant whispers seem to confuse the creature for a little bit there. Like, it's definitely holding its head. Unfortunately, it's holding its head with one of the hands it was using to hold onto the branch. It falls to the ground, prone and stunned. All right,
As a
and
free action, can I let one of my mimic? Can I let my bag go and get?
yeah, if you want to just drop your bag, you go right ahead and give it the command. It's bonus action, so.
Yeah.
All right, so
Beast.
so you all watch as Lier drops her handbag, which then starts shuffling along the ground
Duffel bag.
over. Duffel bag, which drops to the ground and shuffles over, kind of making this little worm-like pattern as it hops and leaps before catching up on the stunned monkey. And somehow it's even less appetizing than when Frank eats something. You hear these grinding, almost saw-like noises as the mimic's teeth tear through this creature's body.
Good bag. Good bag.
Yep.
That's what it gets. Little fucking shit. Speaking of. Ugh.
Yep, and we are now out of initiative order. So
Good.
you guys can...
Prestidigitation.
All right.
I do not want that thing on me for half a second more.
So you guys watch as the air snaps her fingers a couple times, lets out a high note, and suddenly the crap is gone.
Shudders.
Unfortunately, the smell remains.
Holy shit, indeed.
Quote unquote, minor trick, harmless sensory effect, clean soil, flavor. Yeah, no.
Yeah, if you want to use, another couple of
cantrip?
notes to Febreze it.
Yeah, no. Presentation's free. I'm gonna go full on out.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh, this stinks. I don't want my hand to feel this. I'm kind of sick of all this filth.
And these monkeys gonna get it like they did.
Question you, but did your bag just eat something?
No, you're just seeing things. It's
Okay,
illusion, my
good.
dear.
Anyways, I'm gonna go pick up the bag and
Prestidigitation it clean.
Okay. That
Anyways,
was.
look at that slug thing. Isn't it terrifying? I love it.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty neat.
The creature comes over, sniffs at your shoes, and then turns around and heads back toward Morg.
Aww,
Hi, buddy.
it noticed.
You're the pet?
Apparently, I found him when I hid behind like my first bush. Apparently, remember when we were hearing like rustling and thought that someone or something was following us? Yeah, it was this fella.
I mean, yay?
Huh.
I guess.
Picks up any remaining monkey and puts it in the bag.
Well, I'm definitely going to ruffle through the monkeys.
Can I,
These-
DM? Can I get a better look at Frank to see if maybe I've seen something like Frank?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a nature check here.
All right. Nature, let's go. Watch, it's gonna be a nat 1. Nope, that's an 8.
All right. Well, you think you've seen monitor lizards before, and that sounds kind of similar to what this is. Only the large opening on its chest and the fact that its eyes seem to be under its neck indicate that it probably isn't actually a monitor lizard. The limbs that it uses to move around, it definitely seems to be using them properly for locomotion. And it almost has dog-like tendencies, but it's not something that you're familiar with, not something you can easily place.
Huh.
Do you want to know what this reminds me of? A very baby version of the Maw Dragon in Dark Souls. You know, the one that's split open?
Yep, the gaping dragon is what you're
Yep.
thinking of.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't remember the name.
No problem there. But yeah, I guess if you're thinking of that, probably a much younger version.
Cuter.
The-
Much cuter.
Oh, the gaping dragon's pretty cute on the top.
Just
but
don't be a
no.
bottom to it.
Oh
Horrible
my.
joke, I know.
It was awkward.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. It,
Hey, I gave you a warning. At the
no,
start.
it landed a little flat. That's all.
Eh,
It's okay. We'll round out the party yet.
Just a little flat.
All right. So, yeah, you've managed to vanquish the monkeys. In among their things, you find some rather stinky, sticky stuff, which, yeah,
Not touching
poking
that.
that doesn't
Par-
feel like the
par
best
for the
move.
course.
The hide itself is actually fairly tough, and you feel like if you had the time and skills to process it, say with a survival check, you might be able to get something useful out of it. But it's going to take a while, and you don't necessarily want to stick around here, given that, creatures like Frank exist.
Everybody okay?
I'm definitely grabbing the monkeys and
Just gonna.
put my earphones on one of them.
And just say empty.
Empty as in
Empty
breathing,
it.
or
Empty it.
oh,
Oh,
Let's see how well this goes.
You are going to have to remind me what that does. I don't recall that command.
I think this is just making it up. See if it works or not.
Okay, so you put your headphones on there, and it looks around for just a little bit, and then there's a splotching sound, and the head just kind of caves in on itself.
Good boy. I keep doing that for the rest. Meanwhile,
As I'm going to drag that monkey along while that happens.
So,
Okay.
are we going to continue?
Not to be rude, but everything that you do frightens me.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. Nothing's gonna happen to you. I can promise that.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, as you guys start looking around a little bit more, you do notice that there's a bit of a clearing. You're mostly covered still in the forest, but you can see an area where the canopy seems to break just a little bit off ahead and off to your left. In terms of other things you can see, your flight did leave a little bit of a path, and Franklin was not particularly subtle about movement, so you guys can go back the way you came if you want to try, but I mean, at this point, you're kind of disoriented, and one direction looks as good as any other.
Why is everybody here?
I was just taking a nap.
I've just been kind of wandering. That's been kind of my life for the past few years.
I've been searching for this one here.
You didn't have to,
Hey, we gotta stick together somehow. You're the only one that appreciates me, unlike the others.
I mean,
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Exity used to.
What nice feelings for strangers.
I mean, Small and I aren't exactly strangers.
I think I'm mostly talking about the half-orc.
Fair.
Sorry.
No, all
It's
good.
just he did well. I mean, that's worthy of praise, right?
I would say you as well. Come on, I can't really doubt your efforts either, considering I'm also one to go behind coverage.
And you healed me, so I'm thankful.
And me and The Rock did become fast friends.
I like the bromance going on here.
I'm going to
What
pretend like
bonus?
I
Just being
did
here.
not hear that. He's
like
basically
Everything.
Small is basically my blood brother, so no.
Hey, who said anything about being romantic?
Anyway, I guess to reflect the question back, what is everyone else doing here?
I think most people already answered.
I'm looking for an herb actually. I work for a maid as in a household, and the lady is sick. Apparently, the herb necessary to cure her is in this forest, somewhere. I'm not quite sure where though, and
Has
I've gotten lost.
Oh, that's nice, but now you remind me of a good question to ask. Does anybody know of the nearest town?
From here?
I mean, I do.
Wait, so you know how to get the hell out of here?
If we can get out of the forest.
There's a clearing right over here.
Find something
That should be
fast.
easy.
Are you sure that isn't the clearing that this guy over here, little Frankie, didn't show up?
Frankie just
I-
kind of lets out a little trill.
I'm pretty sure Frankie can't eat whole trees, but alright.
Kinda cute when he's not eating something.
It is adorable, isn't it?
It's something.
Oh, definitely a
Oh.
thing. Anyways,
Oh, so you've managed to catch your breath here a little bit. Are you guys going to be looking for the way out? Are you going to be looking for the herb that Marsha's looking for? What's your next point of focus here?
What is this herb called?
It's called Angel Light.
What does it look
It-
like?
It is a white flower on a green stalk, and it glows apparently. Not that I've ever seen a
Uh.
glowing flower, mind you, but
It-
that's what I've heard.
If it glows, then it might be better for us to notice it in the night. Also, Smole, how are you doing? You did quite a number. Are you sure you're feeling okay?
I'm just a bit tired. I might need to be carried.
Alright. Come here, you asshole. And I pick him up and, like, have him sit on one of my shoulders while I'm holding him up.
I guess if
Starts-
it glows.
Starts writing a
Okay.
fanfic.
um,
On what paper?
In my mind. just minor image. Since it's a cantrip, I'm just pretending to do it.
I gotcha.
Funny thing is,
Okay.
if you ask Marsha, she might actually have some paper.
Oh
No,
my
no, no.
god.
No, you just see me with a book and image of both of them, like kind of, I suppose, fanfic images.
Oh god.
I don't remember what a fanfic looks like. It's been so long.
Oh god.
so,
We know exactly where this is going.
Give me just a
Yes.
moment to clear my
So
browser
much.
history.
So my lady, she's in charge of the village that I'm from. Yeah, it's called Briar Grove. It's a small town,
Huh.
pretty close to here actually.
DM, have I walked through Briar Grove before, considering how much I've been walking around for the past few years?
No, as far as you're aware, that's on the opposite end of the forest from where you came in 3 days ago.
Ah. Okay then. I've been walking around a lot, but I haven't heard of that area.
Fortunately, without knowing where you came in from, I can't really, well,
I
direction.
came, and I'm trying to, like, find a good direction. South, I think, from here? But I've been in the forest for, like, a good 3 days now.
Maybe we'll figure it out once we get out of here.
Yeah. Definitely would be good to find some higher ground.
I mean,
higher ground.
yeah, if you're looking to get higher, there are trees.
I will tell them to just stay there. Just stay there for a minute. I'll see if I can climb. Or if anybody wants to raise me to the top.
Starts climbing.
I'll start
Hello.
racing after. I'll start racing after her on a parallel tree.
So acrobatics, I'm
you be
imagining, or
safe.
something.
And I'm still on
Athletics
your
in
shoulder.
this case.
Athletics. Let's
Athletics.
Go.
Or if you want to try acrobatics, just
Please.
describe how you're getting up the tree.
I am
Okay.
on top of Goliath's shoulder.
Oh, do I have
Oh.
disadvantage because I am carrying Small?
Nah. Small enough.
Okay.
Well, I just rolled
Well,
a
well.
9.
I got a 19.
Okay, so
What the heck?
Lier, with great pomp, starts trying to bounce off of the trunk and then catch one of the branches. and can't quite seem to reach it. Leah's just like not
Dang
quite
it.
pulling this off. She hasn't hurt herself, but that didn't work.
This is
Meanwhile-
what I get for being a sheltered child.
Meanwhile, Morg, the thief, sizes up the tree, and then just bounces off and climbs up it like one of those kids in gym class. Just goes straight up, almost like watching somebody climb a rope or a ladder, and reaches about 2/3 the way to the top on the first try.
We.
Alright, you know what? Small, I think you can take it up from here, and I kind of nudge him from my shoulder.
Alright.
See what you can find up there.
Small, are you going to be climbing, or...
Just
I
stand
believe
on
he
my
was being
shoulder.
carried. Yeah.
He was, and I'm trying to figure out if Small is now going to be climbing or falling.
You can make him roll for hanging on.
Yeah, which would be athletics or acrobatics.
Yes, athletics. If you can justify it, you can try making a case for acrobatics, but I need to hear you describe what you're doing first.
Well, follow me standing on top of Goliath's shoulders, trying to and stay on there. Yeah, just to see.
Okay, so you're just clinging to your friend's shoulder?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, Road, you try to let Small down, and Small isn't going anywhere.
Okay,
He's just clinging.
and that's why it's called cliffhanger.
Hey, I can see, but I can see higher than you.
Alright, well...
I mean, neither of you can really see that far. You're only 2/3 the way up
Hey,
the tree.
look! I can see where I walked earlier today. From here.
Alright, I want
Brandon.
to... Alright, you
Are
know
you
what?
sure?
I'm gonna try and see how much more I can climb up.
And I was gonna say, I'm gonna ask Morg to throw me up.
Oh. Okay. What am I gonna have to roll to, one, be... I assume this is gonna be 2 rolls. One, to be sure that I can stay
No.
held onto the tree, and another roll to be able to see how well I can throw the halfling.
You'll make a non-proficient attack roll with disadvantage.
Oh, God. Okay. A non-proficient attack roll with disadvantage. Damn it!
Oh no!
What?
Oh, what did you
No,
roll?
my first roll was a nat 20.
A
What?
nat 20.
My first roll, because I'm rolling with disadvantage, was a nat 20.
Let's
Oh,
hope
you
the
poor
second
soul.
one is close.
What is it actually?
Nat 1?
5.
Please. Okay.
A 5.
Oh
All
shit!
right. So, Small, make a dexterity save.
Oh, God!
Oh no.
That is 13.
Okay. Well, you almost managed to catch a branch near the top. And now make another dexterity save.
Can I also roll to try and see if I can grab him again?
You can
That is
try. Impress
That
me.
is a 14.
All right, you do manage to catch a branch a little ways down below. Morg, you've kind of put all your effort into getting him up,
Okay.
so catching him on the way down doesn't seem likely to happen, unfortunately.
Okay, valid.
But yeah, so he's now just a little ways lower than when you started, just slightly below the branch you were going to set him on.
Me who gave up and just starts watching the show.
Yeah, by the way, Marsha, I couldn't find a good moment to say it, but she did attempt to try with a 6.
Okay, so you guys watch as the sweet little half-orc goes over to the tree, starts to climb, accidentally snaps one of the branches, and just like blushes and hugs the tree in apology.
Oh,
Sorry, tree.
baby.
I think I'm gonna not climb the tree. I don't want to cause any more harm.
I pat you on the shoulder, Marcia.
You're too sweet for this world. Anyways, want to see
I'm just,
want to see me wear
Don't
this
worry, I'm
monkey
just-
as a hat?
I'm just watching the entire, like, chaos happen just on the floor.
Not particularly.
Feel like-
I'll brush your hair though.
Eel.
Alright, I'm going to see. I want to try and climb as far up to the canopy as I can.
All right. I'm just going to use your 19 from before.
Okay.
So you continue up the tree, and up the tree, and up the tree, and somehow, no matter how many branches you climb up, you don't seem to be getting any closer to the top. A couple of times you think you're about to the canopy, but then it almost seems like there's just a little bit more to go.
I look down. Does it look like the height of things has changed at all?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more branches below. You can't see the bottom anymore, but you still can't seem to see the top. You do, however, see that some of the shorter trees have already ended. And with that thinning out, you can actually see into that clearing. It looks like there's some sort of rocky outcropping there. It's a little hard to tell what else might be in that area, though.
Okay. I'm gonna start climbing down.
All right. So for everyone else's benefit, you guys watch as Morg goes up into the tree and disappears. And you're not quite sure if he's just being stealthy or if, like, the branches have gotten that obscuring. But after, probably a couple minutes, he starts coming back down and lands on the ground in a neat little pose.
Welcome back. What did you find?
So the clearing that we were talking about earlier leads to a bit of a rocky spot. It looks like that we'll be getting out of the trees, hopefully, around there.
And am I still in the trees? Symmetry?
Nah.
I don't recall Morg saying he pulled you out.
No, I did not, actually. I look up at Small's direction. Alright, short stock, hop down. I got you.
Whee!
All right. Morg, make a dexterity check.
Let's go. Alright, hold on. That was cocked. Hold on. Okay, 16.
All right. You do manage to catch the halfling as he comes down from the tree. Having only really seen the clearing once you got up there, there's not a whole heck of a lot to head toward other than the clearing. However, we are about 2 hours in, and I need a brief intermission.
Yeah. So, yeah,
So-
super quick. What, 5-minute break?
Yeah, if we could, please.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, I will set things up for the intermission card. For everyone that's been hopping into the stream, thanks so much for hopping on. We're just gonna have a quick little intermission. We'll be back momentarily. Be sure to keep hydrated, all that jazz, and I'll see you all in a bit. And everyone here, we'll see you all in a bit.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
We exist.
We do
So
exist.
it sounds like we are back now.
A little bit early.
Thank you everyone for bearing with us for just a little bit there.
E.
So to kind of recap what happened just before the intermission, Morg was able to get not to the top of the tree, but up high enough to see that about the only interesting feature he was likely to get to was the clearing that they've already noticed from the ground. So, armed with this knowledge, and a halfling in Morg's case, the party has to decide what they're going to do next.
Note, he is not proficient in using the halfling as a weapon. We have already discovered this through roleplay.
It's an important point. You know, you never know when you might need to wield a halfling.
Well, I'm not too sure what you guys are going to do, but I think not the halfling, the clearing is a good option.
So while I'm trying to get this monkey emptied out, hanging by his feet and trying to shake the goop out, I am going to go towards the clearing. Sorry.
She's purposely looking in the opposite direction because she's mortified at whatever the hell she's doing. It's just like, okay, the clearing sounds nice.
I'm gonna
hang out with you, Morg. I think you're the only normal one here.
Yeah, I'm gonna set Small on his feet gently. You know what? Okay. Mersha, you said her name was?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go over to the clearing. Do you want me to cover your eyes?
Oh, how about I close my eyes and you just guide me to the clearing?
That works too.
Okay. Here's my.
Hindering somebody's vision.
I look at Liera's direction. No.
Don't look at me. I didn't say anything bad.
Continues
You thought
emptying the
it?
monkey.
You thought it.
You can't prove it.
I know some people who can read minds. Let's just.
Are we
But
moving
there's
towards
you
the
have nobody
clearing?
on hand, so
Yeah, I'm gonna gently put my hands, not grasp your shoulders, but gently have my hands on you and start leading you through the clearing.
She starts blushing. Oh, that's not quite. Okay, that works, I guess.
All right.
oh,
so
this
you
is
guys,
hot.
Ah, that's hot.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Just
You
all
guys
the possible
managed to
shifts
make
going on
your-
here.
Chaotic way over to the clearing. There seems to be a small waterfall cascading down into a pool. Sitting around the pool are a series of what seem to be some sort of water nymph. And the actual trickling almost seems musical in nature.
Are they dressed?
Yes?
Okay. Just making sure. From what I remembered,
Yes.
don't mind me.
The water nymphs are dressed. They're wearing some fairly simple bathing clothes.
I hear a sloshing sound. Please don't tell me those are monkey guts.
Nope, it's good. It's just water.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Marsha gets
totally not.
inspiration.
Totally not.
Shakes the monkey.
Claire, you're not
What?
helping.
I told her it's not.
As you
All
shake
right.
the monkey guts over the flower-covered meadow between the forest and the small pond, you notice one of the plants reaches up and snatches the corpse in its jaws. You've got about half of a leg left, the rest of it having been ripped away.
I grab my headphones again, putting them back on.
Okay, rude. Fine.
Ooh,
Just
tells me that they like moving.
just rips out the just cuts off at the ankle the monkey, and now I have a little monkey's paw. Great.
Well, better than nothing.
all of the fingers are held down on the paw. Alright, so the nymphs, kind of regarding you guys carrying around corpses and leading a girl around, look at you and decide maybe they should figure out what's going on from a safe distance. They slip into the water. So, yeah, you guys are in the clearing. Are you heading in any particular direction, or what's your plan from here?
What looked to be the best direction to get to, like, where I saw from the top of the trees?
Well, if you wanted to head toward the rocky promontory there, that might actually give you a little bit of a better view of things. But, I mean, other than that, it does seem like it's just mostly open space. Unfortunately, it is also surrounded by trees. So, leaving the clearing will put you back into the forest. However, native denizens of the forest might have some idea of how to get out, if that's your goal.
Approaches
Safe
the
to open
nymphs.
my eyes.
Approaches
you
the
can-
water.
You can open your eyes. We're in a clearing right now. There's a waterfall.
Okay.
Don't worry, I don't have any monkeys in my possession now, apparently.
That's good. She takes a
That's
quick
not.
look around.
So, a beautiful field of flowers leads up to a crystal clear pond, into which a large amount of water is flowing from the top of a rocky promontory. A series of very terrified water nymphs are, like, trying to find the best hiding spots in what is honestly just a very clear, very idyllic setting. Mostly staring at the creature holding a distended monkey paw.
16 perception.
With a 16 perception, you'll also notice, despite the fact that it is daylight, that a certain herb near the pond is casting light, and some of the sparkles reflecting are actually coming off of that herb.
Oh, you think that's it?
Oh, is that the
Well,
herb
you
that
can
we're talking
try make.
about?
I'm sorry.
That I was saying, like, in character. Is that the herb that you were talking about, Marsha?
I mean, it looks good for it, I guess.
Maybe you might want to ask the nymphs to see if they're okay with it.
Me
Or
already
you
heading
take
there.
She'll head to the nearest nymph that she can find. Unless I need to roll perception to find one.
No, they're not doing a very good job of hiding. They're just not.
I'm gonna go like 5 feet away from the pond, and be like,
Hey! By the way,
Looks at the monkey paw.
this is just from an enemy that attacked us. Don't worry about it. So, could you help us out? We're trying to find a decent way out, you know?
Out of
yeah, I kind of do a random hand gesture towards all the greenery.
This, you know? Anybody know a quick way?
On an alternative note, I was wondering if you guys would be okay with me taking that herb back to, well, my employer. She's very sick, and apparently that's I need it.
I'm just taps on Marsha's shoulder with
I believe you can do it. Ask them all for it.
Give her bardic inspiration.
yeah,
Okay.
just because I felt like you needed it.
Okay. So, how's about it, you beautiful little guys? Can I have the flower, please? 17 persuasion? Not bad.
Not bad at all. One of the nymphs
The party inspiration?
breaks
Yeah, that's
away.
what the bardic inspiration.
Damn, I didn't know.
One of the nymphs breaks away from the rest of the group and beckons Mersha over while fixing a very icy glare at Lier.
Kind of looks kind of confused, like, what the fuck did I do?
Yes?
So are you heading over closer to where the nymph is? I mean, she's still
I'm
on
definitely heading in the direction.
Okay. Yeah, so the nymph speaks up. Okay, so like, yeah, I mean, if you can harvest that herb, you go right ahead. They're not the easiest thing in the world to gather. The angel bloom is not something we typically recommend for a beginning herbalist. You might try something a little easier, like mandrakes. You know, they're only likely to paralyze you if you fail.
I'm not an herbalist. I'm just sent to fetch it.
Wow, that was ballsy of them to like send someone who has no idea what they're doing after this herb. You do know what happens once you've plucked it, right?
No, it's after you pluck it.
Well, I mean, I guess you'll just have to find out here. So tell me a bit about these enemies that you guys faced.
So the folks that we
Monkeys.
were going against were monkeys with spears.
Oh, yeah, Charlie and his group. Did you guys remember to say hello?
No, they kind of ambushed us.
Oh, really? I mean, they usually just hang out in the tree looking for the monitor lizards.
Wait, you mean like... And I look around for Frankie. Where's Frankie?
Frankie is currently, like, basking in the sun over at the edge of the clearing. Probably a good 60 feet away. Not easy to spot unless you know what you're looking for.
Mm.
You guys just murder nice monkeys?
Well...
I kind of look at Marsha.
No. Just me, that guy, and that lizard. You're innocent.
Lizard? What do you mean, lizard? And
I
as she
point over
looks
towards
around,
Frankie.
she spots the lizard. And all of the nymphs panic and vanish into the pond. They dip down somewhere deep.
No.
And yeah, no, they're just completely gone.
Well, I'm
Something
conflicted
about
now.
it makes some fear about them.
You know? Do you mind if I take Frankie for myself? People seem to be very afraid of Frankie.
Honestly, I got attached to the little fella, but if they're legit, like, scared of him, probably not be a good idea for me to have him out in another town, so if you can find a good way to take care of him, go for it, Lier.
Could I do a nature check on Frankie?
On Frankie or on the herb?
Frankie.
Yeah, go for it.
I do nature check on the herb.
All right, nature checks all around. Whoever wants to make one.
Oh,
Can I
Nat
help?
one.
Can I help Sakal? Am I able to help Sakal, considering I figured out like a little bit of info on Frankie earlier?
Are you proficient in nature?
Hold on.
Or done.
No, I am proficient in survival.
it doesn't matter. Because
Okay.
I rolled a nat
So-
1.
Yeah. All right. So,
Ain't nothing gonna
Call
save that.
is now convinced that this is a baby gaping dragon. And if it grows up, it is going to eat the shifting woods. So your best chance of escape is to feed it lots and lots of stuff so it gets big and strong and can eat the woods and you can run away.
I got a 14.
All right.
It's amazing 'cause I
14.
have a 0 modifier.
Yeah. All right. And so as you're thinking about this, you do remember an old rhyme that was from a long time ago. You know it was a rhyme, but as you're trying to remember it, you can't quite remember the whole thing. You just know that there's supposed to be some kind of a sound that these herbs make when picked. But as for what happens after the sound is made, well, who knows?
So I remember a thing. Apparently these things make a sound when they're picked. Maybe you guys should like close your ears or something.
Can I kind of, propose something?
Sorry, I'm not interested in girls.
She kind of chuckles.
No, actually. Not what I was thinking, but a nice thought all the same. I'll fix that later. But how about we get somebody else to pick up the flower?
I kind of look into the pond. How deep does it go? How does it seem to go?
It doesn't seem to go particularly deep, which makes it odd that the nymphs were able to swim down as far as they did. You suspect there's either an optical illusion at play or something else going on.
I am going to pull out my whip.
Alright, you have a whip.
I'm going to pick a little bit and have it drop its tongue into the waters. I'm going to gauge the distance myself, see if it can reach the bottom.
Okay, hold on just a second.
With a whip, you can usually reach 10 feet in front, since it's a reach weapon.
Roll me good and evil.
Ooh.
Good and evil.
Yep, good and evil.
Roll
Even
8
not-
dice. If it's evens, it's good. It's odd. If it's odd, it's bad.
Basically, yeah.
Hopefully I don't actually damage the nymphs, because, acid spit. 1, 2... 3. It's uneven.
It's even?
It's odds.
No, it's 13.
That's an odd
Okay,
number.
so as your whip falls down into the water,
Falls
you
down?
hear this. As the tip falls in,
Okay.
you hear this absolute hissing noise, and with a screech, it retracts back into itself.
Now, what
Guessing that's
did
not a
you
good
feel?
sign.
Alright.
Guess we'll be trying that again. I kind of pat the whip and just give it the rest of the monkey's paw.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
Its mouth isn't opening.
you gotta be careful.
Huh.
In
It's
fact,
probably, like, not be used for a while.
you've never seen your whip behave like this before, and this seems pretty serious. Like, you've had this whip for a long time, and it's never acted like this.
Marsha, could I get you a bit of a healing here, please?
Your whip?
Yes, please, quickly.
I mean, sure. Is she going to heal the whip? Let me roll that. It is 3 plus 4, so 7 points.
Alright, so that's, you're using a cure spell on it?
Yes.
Or- Okay, yeah, the whip starts to relax a little bit, and you see the, flexible part start to curl back out.
Oh, alright, I won't put it back in the water.
I can't rub it and just give it the monkey's paw since it seems to be doing better.
Alright. Okay, that water is not to be touched.
Everything you have alive?
Don't judge me.
Seems like it.
I'm not judging, it's scary.
It's a matter of perspective. In any case, though,
shouldn't be worrying about that. I think you should be worrying about what's going to pick up that plant or who.
Guess I'm gonna have to do it.
Well, hold on.
I was about to.
Actually, I would vote for that guy.
Points at the halfling.
Well, first
He seems
off,
tough. He seems tough as nails.
thing is though, if it's based on sound, don't we want to like figure out something to protect our ears?
Oh, wait, no, I got something even better. Like, tell me when you're gonna pick it up. I'll do a little something to save you that
Okay.
trouble.
Well, I guess I'll try so now.
I'm gonna cast silence on a center point of the flower. Oh wait, I think I can ritual cast silence. Wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
doing a ritual spell will take 10 minutes of in-game time.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to set up a stage and get like all of your sound equipment ready, and it's
Alright.
gonna take you a minute if you want to do that. You
Oh,
can.
you know what? Just a second, Marsh. I'll tell you when.
And-
Okay.
So she just goes a bit further, and all of her clothes, including her band, falls to the ground apart from her top and bottom undergarment, which also now visibly can be seen to have teeth. And the clothing shapes into a drum set.
You know
I
what?
am
I'm
just
done
looking
questioning it.
bewildered.
I'm
So now
guessing-
you have a basically a in bikini girl on a
Interesting.
drum set with teeth.
It's gonna take a bit, but it should make it a little safer if it's just sound-based.
And I'm going to start playing a beat, but no sound comes from the equipment or my vocals for that matter, as it's basically kind of, the essence of the spell as well.
Yeah, at first it's not very noticeable, but as the air goes along and continues playing, you notice more and more of the sounds seem to disappear from the area. The waterfall, which had been making a rather loud crashing, starts to fade down to a trickle, and then completely falls silent.
And I
The
just
wind blowing through the trees and the grass start to fade into the distance, becoming static. And after finally getting completely warmed up, everything around seems to have gone dead still as far as sound goes.
winks at Marsh.
She looks very nervous, but she goes towards the flower and gently picks it up.
Okay. Make a nature check for me, please.
Oh, I'm so good at these! Holy shit.
Ooh,
How bad?
ooh.
Would you like to use your inspiration?
No, it's a natural 20. I'm gonna send it to you on Discord just so you
Let's
know.
fucking go!
Nice.
Oh, okay. All right. So you bend down, and as you're pulling the flower, you notice that the stem is just not coming up along with the root. And you realize you don't actually know if it's the stem or the root or the flower that you need. You weren't given that information before being sent out. So, as just kind of a brief moment of insight catches you, you also take your finger and just make a small trench around the edge of the flower and extract the flower and the root in a single movement.
Let's go!
You also notice that the roots are waving around in a way that's far more dramatic than just what the wind would do and from the waving of your hand. So you might want to see about some way to keep those roots from vibrating once the silence spell wears off.
Okay. She's just gonna take the jar that she was supposed to put it in and put a little dirt in the bottom and just put the roots in the dirt.
All right.
And then cap the jar.
Okay. Yeah, so the roots seem to almost grab the dirt and push it around itself. So the herb buries itself back under the ground there.
Well, dirt in the jar anyway.
Well, yes, the dirt in the jar. And you can kind of see just little spaces where the roots are still wiggling through the glass jar.
Takes a bit of dirt at Morg. Kind of waves a finger pointing at her own eyes, and then twirling her finger at the surroundings.
I'm gonna take that as a sign to look around, be sure that no other creatures or anything is close by.
Yeah.
I
So I'm going to roll perception for that, I assume.
meanwhile,
Yep.
I pull out
10.
my bag of holding.
10.
26.
All right. Is anyone else looking around the clearing trying to spot things?
You know what? I'm gonna also do that. 8.
All right. So the two of you don't really notice, but Mersha, something seems wrong with Franklin.
Guys, Franklin doesn't look like he's doing very well.
I love
Which
how
is a great thing to say if you could speak inside of a silence.
Uh-huh.
She blushes as she realizes that.
So you guys just see her mouth moving, and then she's like, "Oh."
Kind of drop concentration.
What?
Franklin's not feeling well.
Turns
He doesn't
around.
look good.
I'm immediately
And-
looking over to Frankie.
Yep, you guys now notice that the dragon that Franklin has just completely covered its ears and is almost looking in pain.
Quickly grabs that bag of holding. But it did.
No, wait, are you sure about that?
Oh yeah, totally. It'll totally survive. It's totally safe.
I hope so.
I look at Lier.
What?
Are you being legit? Because you only ever hear about items non-animate things being in a bag of holding.
Did you ever try it?
No, I've heard of those folks
There we
talk
go.
about it.
You'll give it back, right?
Half-
Yes.
wait. Oh, you're talking about the flower.
Yes. What else would I be talking about?
Never mind.
Kind of gets a bit closer to Franklin, identifying what's going on.
Yeah, Franklin seems to be just burying its head, and you can see that the scales are starting to change color. Mersha, are you putting the jar inside the bag of holding or not?
Yes.
Okay. The moment that the jar disappears inside the bag of holding, Franklin seems to calm down. The scales are still a little bit off-colored, but it doesn't seem like it's quite so agitated, and it's starting to uncurl from the little ball that it had curled itself into.
Sorry, Franklin.
So,
Do I have to roll inside, or can I connect the dots?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear for most
Yeah.
folks what's probably happened there.
well, I suppose that that flower causes great pain to Franklin's ears, even though we couldn't hear anything afterwards.
Hmm.
Well, I guess we can call that a dog whistle. A Franklin whistle.
That's clever.
If he misbehaves, we know what to do now.
I mean, I'd rather not cause him
Yeah,
pain.
That is
I mean,
true.
do you want
might
him
agitate
to
him.
do you want him to gruesomely murder something in front of you?
I mean, of course not. I see.
Or
your
kind of does creepy grabby fingers.
Or maybe eat somebody in town. Ooh.
That makes her leap, and she leaps towards Morg.
Like Scooby Doo jumps in the arms.
Yes. She totally does that.
Oh my god, yes.
Scooby-Doo hop.
just holding her
Sorry.
like practically bridal style.
I didn't mean to do that. She frightened me.
Pulls out the illusionary fanfic book.
All good.
Gives Morg two thumbs up.
As Morg is like blushing and a bit confused right now. Do you want down?
Yes, please put me down.
Okay. I'll let you down.
I tap fire on top of their head with my staff. Like, don't be scaring her like that.
Meanwhile, me and my currently chuckling wardrobe are currently being reunited.
So, what's next, darlings? I think we should start moving somewhere else, but
Kind
Well,
of looks at the tree lines.
Probably
where to?
Well, could I decipher? Like, I probably asked this a bit ago, but like, can I decipher like the best direction to the promotion area that you mentioned?
The promontory is right there.
Promontory.
You can climb up it if you want to.
Okay. I
I'm
kind of
looking at
went
the
that
sky.
direction. Well, that was the area that I saw up at the trees earlier. That might be our best bet.
Alright, lead on then.
All right.
Just a second. Just gonna take a quick peek.
Looks at the sky.
Huh?
Where's the sun?
Oh, the sun is directly overhead. And as it's also been directly overhead for basically as long as any of you have been here. However, as Morg starts to climb up the rock face, you know, it's there we go. You suddenly start to hear the ground shaking. One rumble becomes two, becomes four, as a great lizard-looking thing comes from the edge of the forest. Lier, make an Arcana check, or knowledge of magic, whatever the
Yeah,
spell-
Arcana.
Arcana.
would be good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, one,
What?
2, 3. That's nice. Okay, so that is 18 plus 5, so that would be a 23 overall.
So silence keeps things inside from hearing anything, kind of like a mass form of deafness. It doesn't keep things from outside the area of effect from hearing.
Oh fuck!
Wait a second. Wait a minute. Okay.
I think that's quite true.
I thought it just made it quiet. Like it just cuts off the source of the sound if it's on top of the source of the sound.
And my understanding is that it just cancels sound in the area in
It
general.
just cancels sounds in these said area. Like that's still a 20-foot radius around. All
This is
within
coming from the edge of the
different-
clearing.
I mean, you can make an argument that the noise was still being made from the jar before
Any
it got.
creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage. Creature defend with on terror because of the river components. Is it?
Well,
you can
we'll
cast
rules
spells
lawyer
and-
Here's
this
the thing.
stuff later.
Here's the
Okay,
thing. I'll straighten this out real quick. You turned off the silence so we could speak. The roots were still exposed in the jar, making noise.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
and it could have been at a frequency that while we as
And-
humanoids couldn't hear it,
And
Frankie-
soon after we put it in the bag of holding. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And
I'll
from
clear that
the
up.
edge of the clearing comes a creature. Each of its legs is as thick or round as a fully grown oak tree.
Oh, I don't like this.
That's a thick ass
Oh
boy.
no! Oh no!
Its tail seems to drift farther back into the forest. But you can tell this mostly because you can see the trees it's sweeping clear. Its lizard back has no exposed fins, but it certainly is large and smooth and seems to reflect the light almost as though it were wet.
Marsha's backpedaling in fear into Morg.
Oh no!
What's
Oh no!
What seems
Something-
at first to be its head actually begins to flex and bend closer to a trunk. And underneath its belly, what look to be scales at first separate out into teeth, each one of which is as tall and as round as Morg at its base.
We found me.
I think we found Frank's mother, or father, or parent.
Don't care. Let's book it.
Right back at you. Let's go.
I think the direction where it's coming from is what we're trying to get away from right now. So
All right, so you're running straight
An edge
away
of a
from
coin.
it,
yeah.
while
and
one of your
trying to
party
stick
members is stuck on the top of a rocky outcropping.
Good
Oh,
luck.
that's true.
I'm going to book it after them. Like, I'm gonna go as fast as I can.
Okay, remind me what your climb speed is.
My climb speed, oh fuck.
It's that, or you can just jump down, take the damage like a man, and keep.
Actually, Marsha tries to assist him coming down with a 20. Not a natural 20,
where's
but a
my-
dirty 20.
Where is my climbing speed?
Should we wait for being asked to roll? As
Yeah, I mean-
a slight politeness, you know.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, and you can use that 20 later, I'm sure. But
Oh wait, you could keep 20s for later. I got like
no,
a
not
few-
necessarily. But you know,
See.
it's good role playing. We'll call it an inspiration.
So, okay, I assume that my climb speed, because it takes about, let's see, 2 feet of movement for every 1 foot moved for climbing, so 15 feet climbing?
15 feet. Okay, it's going to take you 2 rounds to get off the promontory if you don't want to risk hurting yourself.
What I'm saying is, she was basically offering arms for him to leap into,
Yeah, you know
using
what?
her
Catch me, I catch you. So
basically.
romantic.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm a leap. A leap of faith. Let's go.
All right. So Morg, seeing this thing, leaps off the mountain into the arms of the surprisingly strong half-orc.
Surprisingly strong half-orc.
You were not
Oh,
gonna
she's
talk
like
later.
5'4", actually.
She's 5'4" and seems to be afraid of her own shadow, which is currently covering a flower, and I'm sure is upsetting her just a little bit that she can't get out of its way.
You and I need to talk later. Anyway, put me down. Let's book it.
Yes, later.
All right, so you guys are going straight away from this thing, correct?
Me speaking out.
Rule of thumb in
Yes.
nature for survival: run at least as faster than the other people behind you.
Me use booking it.
Crips.
Let's
Crips.
go.
Just
All
say,
right. So, running across the clearing isn't going to require any rolls here.
Wait,
But-
did Small just say that he trips me?
jokingly.
Okay.
Yeah, that better not be in canon.
So you guys
because I have a whole
watch
person.
as Small tries to grab at Lear's foot and then thinks better of it, just in time to catch the foot on his knuckles.
Meanwhile, the pants hissing.
All right.
Hey, that's it.
So
I
as you
don't
get
think it's
to the
safe
forest,
to touch
though,
her.
it seems like somehow most of the ground is covered in thorns, vines, and brambles. You'll be able to make your way through it, but it might hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
So-
What's that?
I'm
You say
Okay.
it's covered by brambles?
Yes. Small vines, brambles,
Oh.
thorns. And, okay, so, Lier, you're just looking it straight through, correct? You're not going to slow down at all, or like try and find a path through this.
There is one thing I am going to do though.
Yeah.
For just a slight second though.
Just making sure I got this down.
Okay.
Motivational speech. A 3rd level spell, just for temporary hit points so it doesn't bother us too much. 5 creature that hears me, so
I think it's +5? Yeah. Okay, it's increased by 5, so it's gonna be a +5 temporary hit point advantage on wisdom saves. If hit, advantage on next attack, you know, that stuff. But
Okay. Well, the 5 temporary hit points is going to make it so you can just traverse these things without worrying about it.
So
who all is affected by this?
The people who can hear me say,
Do not fear, because grass, as sharp as it is really not sharper than whatever that thing is chasing us, so you better run through it right now. Take this as inspirational as you might think.
I feel weirdly inspired in the midst of fear. Let's go.
Okay. So inspired.
The grass is not sharper than that creature's maws. Run.
All right. Yeah. So you guys are able to go full tilt through this stuff here. And as you get into the forest, it lets out a tremendous howl. Everybody make a wisdom save. Boy, it sure is lucky you all have advantage thanks to this
Let's
spell.
go!
wow.
You guys also have an additional D4 because it still hasn't been 10 minutes.
Yep.
It is not. It's only been about 5.
Let's go!
Okay, so that's 6. Wait,
16.
You know what? I am
16
not going to
plus-
risk it. Hey! I got a max on that D4. That's going to be a 21
You know what?
for
You know
Morg.
what? I'm gonna roll D4 as well just to make.
And so am I.
Was not
That's going to be a
roll.
21 for Morg.
Yeah, DC is 15, by the way.
Oh my god.
That's a 19.
Oh
That
well,
was
I kind of wasted it, but hey,
I
at
wasted
least
it
I got
too,
a dirty
but fuck
20.
it.
I got a dirty 20 for
Yeah.
guidance.
Per the
I
classic,
got a total
with
of
anybody,
16, so...
Oh,
For the
by the
classic,
way,
but
want to hear something fun about motivational speech?
Hold on. What were you trying to say, Easy?
per classic, with anybody with a high save in a category, I rolled badly. I rolled a 13.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
sweetie.
All right.
I mean,
so,
we have enough people to carry, so.
You're already heading full tilt, though. So the absolute fear that this thing puts into your heart doesn't really change what you're already doing. And
Also, it was a fear effect.
Yes, it's a fear effect. So she is now terrified and is going to keep running from this thing without regard for what is in her way.
So, want to know something funny though about inspirational speech?
What?
Motivational speech. It lasts 1 hour.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it doesn't take you an hour to resolve this conflict.
We're not sticking around to find out if we can
Yeah,
resolve
no.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. So as you continue, the forest almost seems to be deepening and thickening. This thing might be leading you into a trap of some sort. But, I mean, hey, if you aren't going straight on, it seems like it's going to catch up to you. Interestingly, though, Morg,
Yeah?
because of your particular connection with Franklin here, you notice that Franklin's also keeping up with you.
Can I look at Franklin to, like, see... Is there a way that I can read, like, what Franklin's intentions are?
Is Franklin in
Insight.
fear?
Yeah, is Franklin in fear as well, or...
Yeah, like Easy said, that'd be an insight.
Okay.
Can I roll that as well? Or am I leading the pack right now?
I mean, hey, if you want
Oh,
Oh, shit, Marsha is scared.
That's a nat one.
Oh,
oh
19.
no.
Wait a second,
Okay.
that's insight, right? Yeah, so
For
wait a
insight.
second. Insight plus 19 plus 3, 22. Yay.
All right, so Morg, you're pretty sure that Franklin is going the same direction as you. You're reasonably confident on that. You might be wrong. Morg might, or the Franklin might, turn off at some point here, but definitely seems to be going the same direction. Lier, you notice that not only does Franklin not seem particularly worried, it almost seems happy.
Does it seem to be chasing us or just to be running with us?
You're not even certain it's running. It's just moving the same way it normally does.
Guys, I'm a bit worried here that it could be a trap, so yeah, let's be prepared to make a hard left or hard right if push comes to shove.
Let's not split. Let's make a move.
All right,
Which
so you
kind
guys
of
are going to keep
move?
running?
For now, yeah.
All right. You continue over thick vines and bushes. Branches start whapping at you guys as you're going along. And then it starts to seem like there's just larger and larger logs that you're climbing over. Fallen trees, wood that seems to have rotted away. And then everybody but Marsha, make a perception check for me.
13 for Morg.
Nat 20, baby.
Nice.
Win.
And,
Oh, you
and
didn't
is it with advantage or no?
No advantage, unless you've got some other effect that gives you advantage on it.
Also, Marsha, you didn't have to roll.
I got-
8.
It is, however, to spot a trap, so if you have advantage for that
total of
purpose,
8.
you can take it. Total of 8.
Yep.
Could
Okay.
Marsha re-roll on her wisdom save to try and snap out of this fear, or?
End of next round. Yeah, she'll
Okay.
be able to try making the save again, unless, something happens to her in the meanwhile. But as you guys are going, Lier notices with enough time to warn people that there is a large pit covered with leaves in your path. It's not particularly well hidden, but you've got at least one member of your party who is completely panicked and probably not observing her surroundings, and one person who doesn't seem to have quite caught on and isn't adjusting accordingly.
I'm
Do you
going
want
to yell. I'm going to yell stop and jump at Marsha to try and knock her down.
And who's the one that isn't
okay.
fully aware?
So-
I yelled stop,
Yeah, it's DC 10 to notice this.
and I'm jumping at Marsha to stop her.
All right. Marsha, how do you want to handle Lier just suddenly jumping at you, full of teethy clothing, as you're being chased by a very teethy dragon?
That makes her even more afraid, so I'm guessing that's a contested athletics.
Are you gonna keep running in the direction I'm coming at you at, or are you gonna run in another direction?
I mean, you hurting her?
I might as well if I can't get you.
Uh-oh.
Well,
she's
anyways, I
looking
guess it's a
from you.
contested athletics or
Nah,
acrobatics. Can I do acrobatics? No,
No, not,
If-
not for
No,
this.
athletics, I think.
Marsha, if you're going to be running away from Lier as she starts doing that, there's no contested athletics. You're just running away from her as well as the
She's
dragon.
gonna run from them both.
Okay,
Does that
so
make
you're
sense?
diverted around the pit.
Yeah.
Lier, I will just let you not worry about that. We'll keep going there. Who didn't
Pit!
catch the pit?
It's a call.
Wait, so you roll
Alright.
below a 10?
Yep.
Yes.
Same with me.
All right, make a dexterity saving throw.
If you
Yes,
go over the
into-
pit.
Next thing.
To both of us.
If you jump over the pit, I'll
Yeah.
sit on your face.
Oh, does not help. I have a -1 on my dex.
Oh no!
Yeah, he's clumsy, remember?
I fumbled that.
Oh my god. Total of
Question.
15.
Oh,
15
total
is
19.
sufficient. You managed to clear the pit.
I also got a perception of 8, and I rolled a 19 for the perception, just in case. I mean,
19
Oh,
for
wait.
perception or the
no,
save?
no, for the save. For
Okay.
the
Oh,
for the
dexterity
dex?
save.
Quick question.
You know,
Did
it's like-
Franklin make it over the pit, or was he like disappointed now?
both of them made it across the top of the pit without breaking through.
Oh. Well, let's keep running.
Yep. All right. So, Easy, if you want to roll a new save, go ahead.
All right. I mean, what are the chances that I
I
fail?
mean, you still have
miserably?
advantage, so
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Advantage, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for that. Natural 20.
Woo-hoo!
If I didn't have advantage, it would have been a 1.
Oh! A nat
Oh,
1 and a nat
wow.
20? Jesus.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Now we're just
That happens to me a lot more than I would like.
We're gonna need a rest soon. Just saying.
Yeah. All right. So, then you guys continue along, and these large fallen trees are making way for even larger oak trees. Like, these things look like the kind of thing that haven't let light through in the last century. They are ancient trees. They are massive. And somehow, this giant lizard is sliding in and out through them. It's no longer leaving a damaging path, but its footsteps still thunder behind and around you as it keeps pace with your group, looking at full tilt. You finally come to what almost seems like a little hedgerow fence. Everybody make an athletics or acrobatics check to get over it.
Athletics or acrobatics? I'm gonna do athletics.
Let's
I thought
see.
it's for me.
Woohoo! Okay.
Okay, I dirty 20 on acrobatics.
21 for Morg.
I'll do
I'm-
athletics.
But do a flip.
And my dude
I
did
got a
athletics.
15 in total.
So
For
go down in
athletics.
athletics of 16.
All right, and Marsha, what did you get?
Athletics of 5.
Oh.
Oh,
Wait a
dear.
second.
Sweetheart. Oh no.
Can
All
I
right,
kick your ass over the fence at this point?
and that's with the 1d4 bonus that you got from.
Oh no, let me do that. Let me do that. I don't think it's gonna help
Zach-
though.
I was about to say, is that going to be enough?
That's an 8.
All right, and Lier, you don't happen to have any bardic inspirations left, do you?
No.
A little too late
but-
anyway.
Oh no.
But trying to figure out how I could use these things to my advantage. Well, what's the distance between me and that fucking lizard?
It seems to be maintaining a distance of about 60 feet.
Well, that's good. Dissonant whispers. Let's see if I can slow it down. DC 14. Let's see if I can at least get it down to that. If we're lucky, it's gonna give you a chance.
What kind of saving throw?
So that's a
Oh.
wisdom saving throw from the creature, correct?
Yes, wisdom saving throw.
All
Yeah, you gotta
right.
make sure you mention which kind of
Um,
saving throw.
It just barely failed.
Yes!
Ooh.
Yes! It now is. It can't go near me. It's in fear. It.
It's
Okay, let me-
terrified of you.
Yeah. Okay,
Let's-
so just a second. I'll play this perfectly. So first, I'm gonna roll the d6s, the 3d6s. Okay, so that's a 10 psychic damage. So I turn around and all my clothing bears teeth as I get a menacing visage in as well. Like my face distorts into a dark mess of eyes and teeth as well as I screech out,
Fear me, abhor me.
Nice.
and
The
yeah,
creature rears up in absolute terror and turns around, doing its very best to slide back into the woods that it came from. So it doesn't matter that Masha, as she was going over the fence, tripped and is now going slightly slower, because at least as long as Lier is there and maintaining this spell, the creature's not going to be following you.
Oh.
you're welcome.
Now get over the fence now!
I-
Working on it. That's much better. That's a 21.
yeah.
21.
Okay.
That's a-
So yeah, you managed to get up. It only cost you half your speed to get up anyway.
Sanctuary on herself.
So does anybody did anybody else heart is kind of stopped?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, there's one other thing to notice at this point.
Yeah.
Although you could have sworn the forest was getting thicker, you actually find yourselves right on the edge of what seems to be farmland. And in fact, Marcia, you recognize this farmland. You're about a 10-minute walk from your lady's home.
Well, welcome to Briar.
Huh.
Start moving.
Some way
I
to
don't-
stumble
Well
on it.
then.
I mean,
Wait.
You want to know
It's-
what's funny about this whispers? It's not a duration; it's instantaneous. So, yeah.
Huh.
Morg,
Yeah.
is Frankie still with us?
No. And it might be good if he isn't.
Oh, thank God.
Actually, I want to
Any-
look around. Do I see Frankie around? Do I see anything
if he's
to
turning
indicate
around-
that he's hiding?
If Morg's turning around, I am quickly rearranging myself just to pat myself down of all the, extra.
Yeah, everybody seems to have all their bits in place. Franklin doesn't seem to want to leave the forest. Like, before it gets to the trees, it just lifts up one of its limbs and then scampers back in.
Okay. Well, we're out.
So, the farmland nearby, there do seem to be some workers out in the fields. They're mostly gathering the remainder of what you would normally consider like a winter wheat crop. Despite the fact that the trees themselves are green, everything around you seems to have already been harvested for the most part. You are on the last harvest of the season. And as you look up at the sky, as you're leaving, big gray clouds have started to cover as just a light dusting of snow begins to settle all around you.
Huh.
How long were we in there?
No clue.
I quickly rub my clothing just to have it cover me a bit more.
What
I don't like this.
what season was it when I first went in the forest, DM?
So for you, it was the middle of summer.
I guess
Was it-
I felt like it was in there for 3 days, but I guess it was 3 months.
I mean, it was fall when I went in.
It was summer for me.
Well,
was-
I guess there weren't any astral storms, so Doesn't really matter, though.
Oh,
Can we
Either
just
way.
go?
Yeah, we have
yes,
a plan to
let's.
deliver.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
have
Apparently, we
that?
took up Marsha's job. Hope we get paid.
Here.
Haha, don't need
Uh,
money.
I mean, she might.
Here you go.
Don't know.
Here you go.
Oh,
Opens my bag of holding. Take the plant.
Be
Thank you.
careful.
I'm just going
Oh,
to creep
yeah.
my hands onto both of Marsha's shoulders with a slight smile.
you owe me one.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let's go.
Yes, let's.
All right.
Actually, you owe me twice, but let's not talk about that. Not yet.
Hey. So, the mansion's this way. Follow me.
Follows.
Wait, mansion? How rich is the person that you work for?
My lady's family owns the town.
Huh. Pretty
Holy
formidable quest
shit.
that you had to do then.
I mean, if they were going for a rare plant, you'd assume they had the money for it.
Yeah, fair.
Honestly, I think Marsha was a bit of a clutch, if you don't mind me saying.
My understanding is my lady tried to hire adventurers, but none of them came back.
Huh.
Huh.
Hope
I
have
just
some good
realized that
fruit.
everybody's level 6.
Not me, I'm level 5.
I'm also level 5.
And
All
you
of
can
us were
see
level
how
6, so I
hard
just at a level.
you can see how hard it held everyone back.
Me, level 5, saves the party.
Right?
Amazing. So she leads you through town.
Yep. As you get into the town proper, you notice that a lot of the shops do seem to still be open. And in fact, there's a fair amount of commotion going on. As you get up to the main mansion, you are stopped by a guard. Marsha, this must be a pretty new one because you don't recognize him and he looks pretty young. Oh, who goes there?
I apologize. I work for the lady of the manor. I have brought her medicine back.
Wow, that was fast. We just sent out for it a few minutes ago. Please, do come in. And he just leads your entire party into the manor. As you walk through
Sent someone else.
I'm sorry?
I guess she sent someone else when I didn't come back.
Well, you
Blows a
said,
kiss to the guard.
you said it was fall when you left. Now we're in the beginning of winter. It's been a while.
You
So-
know, I've been to a few places. It's best not to question it. Give yourself a headache.
As you enter, you do notice that some of the furniture's been rearranged. And in fact, one of the portraits has been changed. Where once Marsha's lady had been, there is now a picture of an old man who looks like a grown-up version of the child that used to live in the manor alongside everyone. And next to him is a woman you've never seen before. The guard takes you in and brings you over to the royal bedchambers. Or not royal, but the
Noble.
master bedroom, I
Fair
guess is what it would be called.
Hmm.
And he knocks gently before leading you all in. The old man is sitting next to a woman who is lying in the bed, looking very pale and near death.
Ah, so you've come with the medicine, I take it.
Looking like a little too late, I fear.
No. I think you're just in time to save her, really. The worst of it is about to happen. We were told we have maybe an hour.
Here, I mean, don't hesitate then.
All right, and you hand over the angel root?
Mhm.
His face transforms completely upon seeing what you've brought him.
Is this the fabled angel root? We've
Took
sent
some
so many
time.
we've sent so many people after it. My mother died waiting for it, but you've managed to acquire it. This is fantastic.
Hello, Fee. Thank you for lurking with us.
Thanks for the lurk.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for lurk.
Thank you.
So, yeah, he is absolutely over the moon. He pulls it out of the jar and just very carefully prepares it in some equipment next to the bed, making a tea out of it. As the water's heating, he talks about how hard it was growing up without a mother and with a father who was so devastated. But he's finally managed to turn things around. The town is getting back to where it was. Until his own wife got sick with the same condition. And as she drinks the tea, Marcia, you see the woman that used to be your supervisor has gotten significantly older in the time you've been away.
Okay. I failed.
Nonsense, dear. Is that Marcia?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, dear. You were never meant to succeed at that task to begin with. Although I'm quite glad you did in the end.
Quince.
Wait. I wasn't supposed to succeed. Then why was I sent?
Well, the lady needed some sort of an excuse. It was pure coincidence that she came down with the very illness she'd been faking, not 5 years after you disappeared.
Sent me there to get rid of me?
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but she had been given a pretty large bribe. One that would have helped the country to succeed for a long time. We later found that it was a charlatan's ruse. But by then, you hadn't returned. The same as any of the other adventurers.
How long?
There's a very visible frown on Lear's face. Like
Morg is scowling.
like imagine the cartoony like reverse U shape as physically possible on a human being.
Morg is just. Morg. This is.
You're
something.
small. You're small.
I know. I'm talking to you, Morg.
Yeah.
This is bad.
How
Wanna invite her?
long? How
Oh,
long?
She just
was
leaves the
she
room
gone?
crying.
I'm actually gonna go after Marsh.
I'll keep an eye on her.
Please do.
Morg?
Yeah.
It's been 36 years
Read your
since she
resale.
entered.
Say that again, Small.
I am willing to raise hell in order to.
No.
Yes.
Well, I dare say I don't have a way to send her back in time. But I'm delighted that she was here to take care of me.
You.
If there's any reward that you would seek from us, please feel free to ask it.
I could care
But-
fucking less about a reward right now.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Same.
Like, money would be nice, but you sent someone out there to basically die because of a bribe. That is deplorable coming from someone that was raised by a bunch of people that like to ransack like random places for fun.
And I'm one of those people, and I agree.
None of us were thrilled to hear of my lady's deception. But she's been dead for nigh on 15 years now.
Well, then do something about it to make amends. That's
What would
something
you
for
propose?
I can't say shit about that because I don't know your guys' relationship. But seeing her like that reminds me of myself many years ago.
Already in narration.
Oh, you shut up. You're taking care of her.
Oh, sorry. No, I was actually reading something.
Oh.
Let me just mute.
Gosh darn it.
I want to thank you, if you're at all to blame for helping her get back. I don't know how we can ever repay you either, but we will do our best to make this up to her, and you will all always have a home here.
Interesting that you'll offer that so quickly. What's the catch?
The catch is, you have to bring the herb that will save my life before I fall prey to the same exact condition.
So this is
Seeing as you've
hereditary?
already accomplished this, I have no reason not to keep such valiant, capable individuals in my country and allow them whatever freedom they need to continue serving others the way I've been aided.
What is this disease exactly? Because if this has been something that you said that someone faked, but you have dealt with, is this a hereditary? Is this just happenstance? What is
We
this?
don't know. We never did quite figure out what was causing this. We only know that it has now claimed the life of one lady in this country, and nearly claimed a second. But I cannot ask you to investigate this further, particularly when someone needs your moral support far more than anything I can provide right now.
Glad you're honest.
Meanwhile, in our universe.
All right. So, fair enough. Marcia, Lier manages to catch up with you about the time you get to the stairs. Given your recent spill, your knees are still not bending quite as well as you might like, so you do have to slow down a little bit, and she's able to catch up with you.
Marsh? I think that's what your name was. Whew. You're a good runner. Not as good as me, but... Please. Should we take a small walk together? I don't want to leave you alone. Against my better
She
judgment.
slumps down on the stairs.
You what?
She slumps down on the stairs.
Okay, I thought you said you fall down the stairs. I was like, what the fuck? So dramatic.
I mean, it's a dramatic moment.
Yes, it is. But nobody can out-drama the glamour. But
No,
I kind of put my hand on your shoulder.
It's
the
all
second
right.
time. You know,
Well, no, it's not all right, but you know.
the second time, the family's just gotten rid of me. Am I that easy to be rid of? Did I do something wrong?
Okay, now I'm curious. Do you mind telling me about your past, if that's not too, ask too much?
I mean, a lady found me when I was little, apparently floating in a basket down the river. So my parents got rid of me when I was little, and now she sends me out on a death mission. Apparently I'm not very lovable, huh?
I kind of give you a flick on the forehead.
Ow!
Not a strong flick.
Oh, come on, you're a half-orc. Now, floating down the water in a basket. I heard of several tales about stuff like this, but usually they're not too negative. You don't know about that part. I don't either. But now we're thinking about now. Yes, they were assholes to you. But hey, if you were that hateable, do you really think I would have spent a single moment trying to help you? Twice.
I guess not.
There.
Leans her onto me as the shirt smiles.
Yeah, no offense. I really don't want to hug your shirt.
Oh,
Scares
don't worry.
me.
He doesn't bite without permission. You know, from me.
I won't lie, I was secretly hoping Morg would come see if I was alright.
Oh, he's
That was
probably chewing
stupid.
out the lady. He seems like the white knight kind. Especially the way he caught you earlier.
She
Or you
blushes,
jumped.
blushes profusely. It's like, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you did catch him back.
I mean, it's only fair, right?
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like the boys really did warm up to sweet little Marsh, so I'm sure they're doing something on your case. So don't
mean-
worry, all right?
Alright, I'll do my best.
Just hugs her again.
Just depend on Big Sis Lier.
I mean, you are dependable.
I try to be. But don't fail me. I might get rid of you.
She teases.
She wipes away a tear. That's not funny.
It is for me, but yeah, no, I won't. Maybe. But okay.
And it is about this time that the rest of the party manages to catch up.
And look
Catching
over,
me saying, I
So-
might get rid of you.
I
So,
look
Morg.
over at the. What's up, Small?
Shall we invite her on an adventure, and welcome her as part of their family?
Sorry, what?
You're
Sorry,
gonna have to
sorry.
enunciate a little bit more.
It
Clark.
sounded like
I'm
you had
sorry.
your mouth full.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Shall we invite her along and treat her like family after what they did?
I mean,
Looks back.
it's an idea, but as I
Is
look
that
over
how
to
family
Marsha,
works?
found family.
Yep.
I mean, I think you should at least ask her consent
I was
first.
going to say, it's her choice.
Yes, that's why I asked should we invite her, so she can decide.
I kind of
mean-
pull her back a bit.
No, she's my sister already.
Kind
I
of chuckles.
mean, you can join in on the adventure too. Not leave you behind.
I got nothing else
Mhm.
better to do, and I gotta find a way back. So, here. Why not?
Welcome to the family.
I look over at Sukal.
If you call
What
me
about-
sister, I'll beat you.
What about you, Silent? Haven't said a whole
Looks-
bunch throughout all this. What have you been thinking?
Yeah, just been
Lizard,
watching
catch
all
your tongue.
of you. I was just watching all of you just doing your own thing.
You know,
From sleep.
And
how long were you in the forests? We literally heard that, at least from Marsha's side, it's been 36 years. For me, I don't know how long.
To be fair, I think it's
I'll
weirder that he
say-
was taking a nap.
Are you
hey, sometimes the
Native?
rest is good.
to the forests?
You could say that, but
Wait. Hold on, so a human fucked one of those things that were just chasing after us?
Wait
Even
a minute.
Lier kind of cringes at the thought. Like, ugh. You see her face retract.
I mean, love doesn't really care about appearances. As long as they loved each other, I don't see the problem, right?
Unfortunately,
that's
that's a big fat lie, but sure.
And,
Have,
and
you, have, your,
Mel,
have your illusions.
Small is just scratching his head, trying to think about that.
Huh.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Yes,
out my head,
Morg,
get out
I'll
my
come
head.
with you on your adventures. I'm not sure about being your sister, but I'd be more than happy to learn more about
No
you.
one has to be a sibling to each other. It's all just for names, for fun. I mean, this one here, and I pull Small near me, and I start giving him a noogie. This one is a pain in my side.
Hey! I have to be. Where else am I supposed to go?
You just
But-
have to make me one promise, okay?
Of course.
Don't ever get rid of me.
I don't think that's ever gonna
We'll
happen.
do our best. to
Believe
keep
me,
you
I
alive.
tried to have this one get rid of me on my own terms, but you could tell what happened. He didn't let that happen. So, I think we're all stuck with each other.
Unfortunately.
And then she piles into Morg's chest.
I keep one arm around Small and also like
Pulls out the
Like,
fanfic book.
and pull Marsha closer in with my other arm.
I give Morg 2 big thumbs up.
Okay,
And with a look
pair
of
of
the face, that's
three.
creeper.
I do.
And so it
have-
comes to a close.
Oh, I did want
A
to
family
say a thing.
found, a forest escaped. Yes, there may be more to these stories, but for today, I think we've reached the end of this adventure.
Okay, so when are we starting the actual campaigns?
I did actually
Here's
want
the
to do
thing,
a thing.
we all have
was
to
an
be
amazing
dedicated
one-shot.
to it. so-
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
That
Look at me.
was.
Look at me. Look at me. I am dedicated.
I am
Oh, I have
dedicated
to
to.
dry actual tears, just so we're
Same.
clear.
And I have an
Good.
idea for something that I want to do. Like, I want to have a quick moment with like Marsha in private.
Oh
Private. Ooh.
Well, Road, we are about 3.5 hours into this. So,
Yeah,
I
it is.
think-
Yeah. Do we
Is
want to call it
really
short?
3.5?
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
about, yeah, we're
is
about
there
3
even
hours.
anything else? Is there even anything else to do now?
Not really.
I mean, that
Celine?
when it comes to like plot, probably not. But there is an urge in Morg right now.
all right. Well, I'll just be here if you need me.
You know what? How about
It's
this?
not anything that will be TOS
Listen.
unfriendly. I promise.
Listen,
I have
That's
too
between
many
you and
actions.
Twitch. I don't care.
Celine,
TOS
Celine,
on my end.
Celine.
What's up? What?
So-
What?
So, okay. Now listen to me,
I'm listening.
please. Can it be like not at 10 in the afternoon so I can actually sleep during the weeks?
What on earth are you
Like,
talking about?
please. Like maybe a few hours earlier, if at some point you're planning like maybe to continue or campaigning.
I know she's gonna do a long
Please.
form
Yeah,
with me.
considering this is also based on my schedule, considering we've been doing this on like my streams,
Fucking
we will
night owl.
definitely have to like plan stuff ahead. I'll
Hey,
let
I
you-
work night shift, all right?
Yeah.
Oh no, we skipped over the sweet stuff and went straight into the scheduling boss.
No!
Okay, I want to do a thing.
And here's the thing.
I'm so
Alright.
saving the stream though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, please, Road,
How do you
please
how do you
have
save the
mercy on
stream?
have
Look,
mercy on my sleep schedule.
Doesn't help that it doesn't help that my schedule for my workplace is very sporadic. So
Yeah.
We should probably wrap this up and discuss this off stream. As awesome as this is.
I also wanted to have the moment.
True.
Then have your moments. Just
Okay.
mute everybody
Fine.
else. They can't contribute now anyway.
Okay, I'll mute myself.
This is so fun.
Yeah.
Just exit the call.
No, you don't have to exit the call if you don't want to. Just mute.
I can mute my mic without me
No.
muting myself on
You wanna
Discord.
talk.
All right. So, I guess since I'm apparently taking the helm of it, or am I taking the helm of this, Celine?
I don't know where you're taking Marcia yet.
I
you going to
want
give me
talk
some
her,
idea?
Yeah, I want to talk to her in private, and how I'm thinking about it is that, at least the image in my brain is that it's nighttime. Like, it's the point
Yeah.
to where people like getting close to like getting ready to sleep.
Sure. I mean, you guys have finished out the day. It's been a fairly eventful one. You've been given a house that you're allowed to stay in and maintain as you please. And there are even a couple of servants available for anything that you might need to acquire. So, yes, Marcia has her own room in this place, as do you. And I'm assuming that you're meeting her outside of her bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm heading over to her door, and I'm gonna give her door a light knock.
Who is it?
It's Morg. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing better. Let me just, you hear some rustling, and then she comes up to the door in a nightgown. So, what is it you want?
I wanted to talk to you. Sounds like we have a bit in common. Mind if I come in?
A boy, no,
Okay.
she steps out and closes the door behind her. So what was it?
So, the reason why I say that you and I have a bit in common is that it seems like you and I both have a bit of a reputation of being pushed aside.
Sorry, that's the same for you.
Small and I come from a clan of Goliaths that like to ransack, pillage, and I wasn't really one of the in-your-face types. I was more on the sidelines, picking pockets before people would realize that their things were missing. And that wasn't quite to my leader's tastes. So at one point, instead of trying to get rid of me physically, like what your lady seemed to do, they tried to break my spirit. I don't like it when people's spirits are broken. I think that's worse than when a body is broken.
I think you're right.
That being said, what do you want to do about here? If you feel like they've abandoned you again, what do you want to happen? Are we just going to leave them be?
I mean, they did give us a house, I guess.
That's true.
I just want to be around you, if that's okay.
Yeah. Do you
She's
want
blushing.
me inside, though?
Inside where?
Oh, sorry, okay, out of character, my mind's been interpreting this like we've been talking like in between, like you on one side of the door and me on the other side of the door, because you
Oh
mentioned
no,
you closed the
she
door.
literally like came out of her room and closed the door.
Oh.
So you're
Okay, now
chatting in
wall
the
slam,
hallway.
Wall slam. Come on, it's time. Wall slam.
So basically, she was too nervous to let you in her room because that's putting a boy in her room. So she shut the door and was having a conversation outside the door.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to talk a bit more, and you don't feel comfortable with another person in your room, there is, I assume with how big of a place it is here, there's a lounge area, possibly, so that we're not in a confined space. That sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Okay. But if you need any... This may be a weird thing to suggest. I have a kill count, including... Don't tell Small this, but I was the one that... I'm the reason on why our clan ended up being leaderless. But I feel it was for the best. So if that needs to happen here, I'll go by your word.
No, I'm sure you've noticed by now. I really don't want to ever see people hurt, even if they've done terrible things to me.
Right. You have a good heart. Maybe I can learn to be more like that myself.
Maybe I can learn to be a little braver like you.
I guess it's great that fate brought us together then.
I think so. Can I go to bed now? I'm very tired.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah. Good night, Marcia.
Good night. I look forward to traveling with you.
Okay,
She
that was...
Kylie, like, slyly opens the door and kind of just enough for her to get through, awkwardly. And then she shuts it.
I'll start making my way back to my room.
On the other side of the door, she's breathing heavily. Her cheeks are...
Lear in the background, sus. No.
Oh my god, a boy just talked to me, and he didn't shove me away. What's my life now? Just a bunch of mumblings.
Oh.
Honestly, I so want to do a bunch of funnies, but, you know, I can't. Makes me sad.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this is probably the end of today's one-shot then. We've kind of handled all of the story-related things. So, I think if we're going to do another of these, I'm going to need a week to get better prepared. If you're interested, I would be willing to do one about 2 weeks out.
I would be more than down, honestly.
Let me know if you guys need me. I'll be more than happy to run again, whether it's the same character or a different one.
So, we'll have to see how things go. I've had several people impress upon me how upset they were that I didn't ask them first. So,
you
might need to cycle some...
You got a queue effectively.
I have
Really?
a long
People-
queue.
I'm sorry, people upset that you didn't invite them to this?
We have a lot of D&D nerds as friends.
Yes, and I can only run so many games at once. So, it is up to everybody else to convince Road to do another of these one-shots if they think that it's something they'd like to see again.
Road?
I'll bust your kneecaps if you don't.
I literally said earlier, I am more than up to it.
All right.
You better be.
You don't gotta pull my leg. Just be sure that, Celine, if you're wanting to DM again, like, be sure to collaborate with everyone. 2 weeks will be a good amount of time for me to, if I seriously need to, make tokens for everybody again if we're having new characters.
What? New character?
If
Fuck that. I'm using Lear again.
I mean, I'm okay to keep running this. I just want to run this for more than one.
I started with this character, I'm gonna die with this character.
I'll just be honest with you. I fast forward her like story progression a lot because I thought it was just a one shot. If we go forward, I don't have a lot more left to reveal.
No. Listen. Do you want to know how it's gonna go?
Tell everybody I'm on my way.
Hey.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing a long
Places
form
and
campaign with new
people to
characters where we
be.
can actually do progression in a long form manner.
Oh, I
I
would
mean-
love to bring in my boy Lance.
Honestly, I'll be
I
honest.
can bring
Marsha's
Kita.
opening arc in a single session is pretty neat.
Ooh,
Can
yeah.
we do Lierre's next? The one that won't reach until a few years later?
I mean, that's cool. We'd be new characters, and then we do her arc, and then we'll do our boys' arc here.
Let's go.
More
We need something for
and so on and so
Sukal.
forth?
We need something for Sukal.
Hells yeah, let's do this. I love this idea.
you know. Okay. I'm just gonna reserve
Sorry,
myself a
I
spot,
already
Celine. I'm sorry
blanked.
to push this on you.
What about
I'm
me?
gonna
Character
force
arcs.
this. Yeah, I'm gonna force this on
Oh.
you, but I'm gonna. If Lierre's character art ever comes into question, it should be in upper levels. Why? Oh, if you want me to tell you, I'll gladly tell you.
Oh, I don't disagree with that either.
Oh my, are you
I think
getting?
we should raid and talk about this off stream.
Yeah, that
because
would be
we're
an
gonna
idea.
start
That would
spoiling
be a
things
good
for people.
idea. And shoot, there aren't that many people out to raid right now. So if anyone has enough points for the pass the baton, which is going to be the guide the raid effectively, feel free to put those points out and let me know who you want to raid.
I'm sure
I have. Wait a second. So, I actually want to do somebody for once, but I don't know which one is the raid button.
Okay,
Well,
so if you scroll down to the very bottom, the last row
Yeah.
on the bottom left is pass the baton.
Oh well. Okay. Well.
Which road? Please rename that to guide the raid before next
Okay.
stream.
okay.
Actually, no. I can't. They're gone. Never mind. Well,
They'll say it was an
Aw.
amazing one shot.
Yes, I
Yep.
love this.
I want to
Well, I'm
use
glad
Lierre
everyone
more.
enjoyed.
I won't lie, I guided to lean a little bit on certain parts so we could get moving in directions.
No, that's understandable.
And
Like
I
her
appreciated
entrance, for
it.
instance.
I'm not always going to roll a natural 20 on my DMing skills. That's just the way it works. So I appreciate the help. Thank you, Easy.
No one noticed. No one noticed until I said
honestly
something.
didn't notice. Yeah.
See,
See? Just means you're that good at helping. Alright, so,
Well, I
are
don't
you going
have
to do the
anyone.
redeem here, Dogman?
I don't have enough, and besides the person I wanted to do it, who is not there, so.
Okay,
I mean,
does anyone
Nico was
else...
streaming, but I don't have enough points.
You're talking Neko Kitty 88 again?
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean-
see.
She's
Yeah,
always a good one.
Yeah.
She's doing the VR chats.
Yeah, maybe something quite a bit lighter compared to a D&D one shot. Yeah, so let's get, before we get like the raid and such going, thanks so much to everyone that has hopped in. If you want to keep track on like my scheduling or anything, or also want to talk with everyone here, please feel free to check out my Discord. Please do know that like my streams, my Discord server is also 18 plus, so please be sure that you are of age. All that jazz. We are a very open community. If you want to keep up with schedules and like small little bits of memes and whatnot as well, you can also check out my Twitter. If you want to see this and other VODs without all the ads from Twitch, please feel free to check out my YouTube. And let's get the raid message out for everybody. And you know what? Yeah, let's raid out to Neko Kitty 88 because VR chat sounds like a nice palate cleanser from all this.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It could be a cleanser or just completely destroys the palette.
I mean, it could be both. Both is good.
Switch my reactive
Oh
back.
no.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch mine back as well.
Same.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
after we get off stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do want to thank everyone that has hopped in for the stream tonight. So yeah, let's get that raid started. Do know that even though this is the end of stream, this is not the end of our time together, because the Road to Dusk will always be open for another stream and another adventure and another lovely time for all of us together. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good, wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you in your time zone, as we say bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So